Alright, hello everybody, welcome to part 4 of my Of the Devil episode 2 live stream. I'm sorry that we had to delay it by a week, but we are back doing, I guess, day 2 of the investigation. We concluded part 1 of the trial last live stream, and it was a pretty crazy ending with one of the members of the Blue Bloods attempting to assassinate my clients and then getting shot by London. So the stakes are pretty high, and we still have no idea like what actually happened in the whole thing with the murder of the police officer. It turns out that the police officer that was the upstanding guy that was killed possibly was working with the Blue Bloods and was essentially like a dirty cop. So a lot of information that we gleaned from last episode. Because it's been a little while, I might be a little bit rusty with what actually happened, but this is the, like, after the trial, the first part of the trial. So now we're gonna have to do some more investigating and find out, you know, if we can get any information here. Alright, what was the verdict? The verdict is only handed down after the jury's finished deliberating. That may take. The show must go on. And the shooter? Getting introduced the accommodations down at the morgue right about now. He was some blue blood muscle named Bresson. Ring a bell? As I said, all these Blue Bloods are all... He tried to shoot you, Sosuke. And I was standing very close to you when it happened. I'd like a little more detail than that. I've never met him, never heard of him, that's the truth. But the Bresson family is known to be enforcers for Blue Blood leadership. So it's the old guard who want you dead. Does that make the young bloods an enemy of the enemy? Didn't you tell me Creek was a young blood? Considering what I'm on trial for, I doubt they're fond of me either. God damn it, Sosuke, who doesn't hate your ass? Well, Sarah doesn't. Sarah loves Sosuke. I need to try harder to disregard the nonsense that comes out of that adjutant's mouth. It might be starting to sink in. Sosuke, you were captured when you could have been ignored. You were tortured when you could have been ransomed. And now these people are trying to kill you in one of the most secure buildings in the city. What are they after? Why are you at the top of the Blue Blood shit list? Is it because of... Ooh. Does it matter what I choose? The Hound? The fact he's the Hound? Is it something the Hound did? Did you help one of the old guard retire early last week? That particular messenger communicates only with the highest class of clientele. Corporate rivals and the rest of the nobility? Yes, the Hound of Ikaria is known in the lower wards, but he isn't truly feared there. And he hasn't taken the life of any Blue Blood, noteworthy or otherwise, in over a year. So, not since you were reassigned to guard duty. Does it have something to do with Rennigan? Makoto seemed hesitant to discuss anything to do with them. Because that's the house's way. Aurea Holdings takes care of Rennigan and the like. If Makoto appeared to know anything about their inner workings, that would be a breach of house lines. So Rennigan is just a red herring? I don't remember too much about Rennigan. I think that's the thing that that woman is running, the one that visited me at my apartment. Is it because of what happened a year ago? How do you know about what happened a year ago? A meeting between the old guard and the house, apparently. You were going to work out a deal for the Icarian network to distribute a Blue Blood product. Why would we want the basement-cooked swill the Blue Bloods make sold in our storefronts, our pharmacies? You wouldn't. Not until after Nirvana's legalized. Yes, I figured some stuff out. Stop pouting. There was a meeting last year, yes. A private meeting that was to be kept strictly confidential. The IFG met with the old guard to discuss a deal. It fell apart. Voices were raised, weapons drawn. I was in the shadows, and I stepped in front of a blade for Makoto. The house elders were perturbed afterwards. They feared for Makoto's safety, and perhaps felt they had grown overconfident. The Hound is a useful tool, but not indispensable, so they ordered me to guard Makoto, full-time. Isn't that a great honor, guarding the heir to the headship? Of course it is. Then why do you sound like that? You get points for picking up on it, but you need to learn how to take advantage of it. So your deal fell apart. Blood was drawn. I kind of assumed that was par for the course in your world. It's not unheard of. So, why are the old guards still trying to kill you and Makoto a year later? I don't know. I don't know, Morgan, because I'm not an old guard. Is there someone we could talk to who is? There's always someone, for a price. But if that's how it's gonna go, I'm gonna need a drink first. Are we gonna go back to that bar that Sarah's working at? Here to join? What are you talking about? Oh, Sorry to disappoint, but I was here first. Oh, so this is Morgan when she's younger. The net is slow as shit in this wing of the school. No one else comes here if they don't have to, so it's a quiet spot to read. Yeah, it is a detective mystery, so what? Like 5% of the books in the library are. Well, it's not like I own the room. If you want to convene your club members here with all your many members, I can't exactly sue you. Especially not since you're going to be some big shot lawyer. Join your club so I won't get evicted? Isn't that like blackmail, counselor? Mutually beneficial, sure, so it's just plain old corruption. You'll do just fine out there in the adult world. Whatever, as long as you don't go around telling people I'm a member, you can put me down. We need to add our phone numbers too? No, I don't actually care. Okay, so it's a flashback to when she was younger. Is something wrong? Why would you think something's wrong? It's very unusual for you to wake up mid-transit. When you decide to nap, you fall asleep very fast, and you sleep very deeply. Suspiciously so. Sometimes I'll try to wake you, and I could swear you're just pretending. I have no idea what you're talking about. Besides, you're the one who's been quiet. I had been bothering Sosuke, I think, pestering him about catching bullets. If you were bothering Sosuke, he'd say it. Turn to the side in that bitchy pose of his. But I can't catch a bullet either, even though I'm fast, and I can see fast. Sosuke was the one who acted while I just... Sosuke's trained for that exact kind of thing. Trained for his whole life, the way he tells it. Father built me to be strong. I should be able to. David didn't build you to be anything, Sarah. He didn't even really build you. Just watched you grow. Do you think I'm still growing? Still developing? You think I could get taller? I think you shouldn't get your hopes up about that. Come on, you can bounce back faster than that. I'm sorry. I suppose I am still processing what we saw back in the courtroom. When Detective London took out that shooter, I know Detective London had been a police officer for many years. It stands to reason he'd act decisively in circumstances where so many lives are at risk. What am I still thinking about is the man he killed. Yeah, but there's only so much speculating we can do about his motive. She's probably like, it's not the fact of the whole motive. She's probably like, I saw someone die. I'm not thinking about his motive. I'm thinking about how he is dead. You haven't been out and about long. Everything's new to you, even the most ordinary stuff. I guess I forget that includes the extraordinary, too. You've seen violence like that before, then? Yes, I have. And she's enacted violence, and she's caused people to die. Seen people die? Yes, I have. Seen more people die than most your age? Most lawyers? Probably a safe bet. This is a private subject, isn't it? Death is always private. I'm no exception. Do people ever get used to it? I can only speak for myself. Have you gotten used to it? Every time is like the first time. I hope that everyone's like you, then. It doesn't seem like the kind of thing anyone should get used to. Sorry to disappoint you, then. There are no people like me. And yet people have commented when she walked in the murder scene, be like, wow, you're very chill about this, and you're not bothered by it. Irashai. 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 To what do I owe the pleasure of hosting my two favorite girls? One's Sarah, who's the other? Figment of my imagination, apparently. Do you want something to drink? What do you recommend? I've just got, in this case, a beautiful tawny deep reds from volcanic soil across the sea. Savory and full with notes of cherry and oak. Sounds delicious. Just described a tree, down to the dirt. Well, I would very much like to try it. I'm sorry, you're underage. She's an android. A very realistic one. What do you say to customers who walk in and see her drinking at the counter? Irashai? 2 waters coming up. Wait, back up. Your client is the Hound of Ikaria? And I was the last person to find out what that actually means. Then it should be easy enough to tell whether he did the deed or not. The Hound always leaves a calling card. So I hear. Is it literal? A stark white business card laid neatly on the ground with the house's insignia. I don't understand why the house would go to such lengths to let the victims know who attacked them. These neo-ability types, their whole lives are galas and boardrooms and cocktail parties and wine tastings. Torture, where every sentence has a front and back side to it, and every glance is a whole unspoken clause. To them, an unambiguous act of violence is an exclamation point that they can't misconstrue. And the Ikaria aren't exactly at the top of the neo-ability pecking order. Reminding the others they've still got their fangs is a viable strategy. They know they're outclassed in terms of how many mountains of gold they have. Doesn't explain why a supposedly great assassin has gotten made on more than one occasion. Well, he's probably just doing his job. If all he needed was to get away with murder, he'd be a poisoner or a sniper. All the major houses love to use body doubles. If he kills a target behind closed doors, their house can just bring out a spare. Or hell, claim the entire thing never happened. But if the Hound kills where a house's rivals can see, the damage sticks. You know a lot about the Neo-ability, don't you, boss? Are you considered part of the aristocracy? Oh my gosh. Why can't I say that word? Aristocracy. That's it. I was like, I know this word. Do I look like I've got that kind of sway? I don't run a bar in Midtown as a hobby, kid. Wouldn't know it looking at how profitable your wine section is. It'll catch on. The Hound was a nasty surprise, but the big reveal isn't making anything click for me. A blue blood assassin trying to mist him mid-trial? I don't get it either. But the blue bloods aren't as rational as they used to be. Used to be. I traded with them a good deal when I was younger, and they were richer. Traded what? Stock tips. Oh. This was before the Ikaria cut them down? I was a young man hungry to establish myself, and the blue bloods were the biggest game in town. The Rust weren't even a twinkle in some psycho punk's eye back then. And the Ikaria cartel were just that. Drug smugglers and dope runners. The blue bloods used them as couriers. A reversal of fortune. Could be their names on opera houses and hospitals all across the city today if what? If the Ikaria hadn't killed them all. But didn't they have allies? Connections? The morgues were overflowing with cerulean blood. No one wanted anything to do with them. But they were the victims. Corporate partners are risk-averse. Political alliances require you to bring something to the table. And when you fall that far, that fast, the common folk assume it happened for a reason. They thought the blue bloods deserved it just because it happened to them? All that were left were the old-timers, the grandparents, and the great-uncles, all suddenly without heirs. They recruited latchkeys and orphans during the Red Decade, found family that became the first gens, and then the young bloods. What about the money? You're starting to sound like a real human. Some of it, the cash, the gold, the jewels, the Ikaria just stole. But the vast majority of it was held overseas where it was safe, untouchable, and impossible to get your hands on without the right blood. Locked behind GFA. Getting butchered by the Ikaria was a bad beating, but losing that money was unforgivable. The rest of the blue blood mafia around the world will never accept them back into the fold until they recover it. Exiled from paradise because they tempted fate with their hubris. Had a certain poetic charm to it, no? It would have to be a very sobering poem. Those are the ones you remember, aren't they? Probably why the blue bloods are still humming the same old hymns, passing down the same ghost stories and urban legends. They did seem to be a surprisingly suspicious bunch, crossing their fingers over the red hood and... Hey, what's a little lord? That's another one. New spin on one of the oldest tales in the book, a promised prince. The belief is that exactly one kid survived the fall of the leaves, one lone heir to all the fortune the blue bloods lost, got spirited away overseas or out west to be raised in secret. And one day he'll come back to reclaim what's rightfully... You know, I'm guessing you've heard this one before. Is there any truth to it? Old guards certainly seem to think so, need to think so. It's probably what's keeping them alive. If they can just hold on another 5 years, they'll finally find the heir they've been looking for, and they can rectify decades of embarrassment and shame. Thinking like that is what makes young bloods start talking about maybe the old guard doesn't care about what happens to us. What do they expect? Blood's thicker than water. The original full expression is thought to be, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. That actually suggests that camaraderie between those who fought together is stronger than simply sharing a common relative. Yeah, well, if that were actually true, then maybe people wouldn't have amputated the expression centuries ago. Still, this is 30 years of water, or blood covenants if you prefer, that we're talking about. Young bloods give their life to the Mafia. Each of them had to choose it over their own family. It's a pretty raw deal to cut him loose just because some sheltered kid, only valuable for his DNA, decided to show up after all these years. You think the old guard would throw away the young bloods if it meant reuniting with their little lord? I know it, and so do the young bloods. That doesn't seem to be a dynamic that incentivizes them to look very hard for this little lord. No, it incentivizes them to smother the royal bastard. If I assume my client is innocent, that means someone else killed Tariq Chopin. Someone who didn't do it in self-defense. Tariq Chop? You mean the son of the city councilman? Adopted son. His parents are government officials. Even if they're loaded, the Mob Act can't protect all their records. Sarah, look this guy up. What do you want to know? Let's choose everything if we can. How old was he? His age is listed as 27, but the entry has been edited a number of times. There have been a great deal of back and forth between database contributors in the last 36 hours over the addition or removal of an asterisk. It seems his original birth certificate was lost. Well, that's shady as hell. I wonder, is this Tariq Chopin guy? Maybe he's the little lord, like adopted son. He was in cahoots with the Blue Bloods. He got killed on their turf. Maybe he got lured out there. Only kinda. Here it comes. If he was an orphan 27 years ago, that's pretty firmly in the red decade. Oh, a lot of paperwork was getting lost back then. That's a kind way of putting it. What would be an unkind way of putting it? Maybe, I don't know, maybe somehow the parents, like councilmen, like, did they know that he's the little lord and know he'd have sway with the Blue Bloods and that he would be, I don't know. But that would look really bad if a cop ended up being like the heir to, basically like a mafia's empire. The governments of the world were scrambling. I want to know about his adoption. His fathers adopted him in 2066 after 3 months of visits to gospel home orphanages. A private, philanthropic institution that's no longer in business. Bankrupt or bought out? Bankrupt. Damn, if they had just gotten swallowed, the parent company might have kept their records. The adoption itself was somewhat of an event. There were multiple news articles and photos of it. Not trying to cast doubt on the realness of their connection, but they wouldn't be career politicians if they let a photo op that good pass them by. Unless they wanted to draw attention away from who they were adopting, and... Now, a child showing up quietly in a politician's life looks guilty as sin. They wouldn't let people think. This isn't useful. I can go in circles all day speculating about this. I wonder if she's kind of thinking the same thing about this Tariq guy being the little lord. What was his education? Tariq Chopin had a law degree. Who gets a law degree and then becomes a patrol officer? The son of a politician. It's not a bad path. If your superiors know you're connected and smart and can recognize when the law's being broken, they'll keep you far away from anything real. You can coast for a year and then move into politics as a veteran of the force who's hard on crime. London did mention he was far too principled to be likable or reliable. Joining up with the police was nothing but a calculated move. That means he had a clear plan for what to do after. And it probably didn't involve defrauding the city in a real estate scheme. I can think of a few reasons why a cop would get murdered at the scene of a crime like that, but Tariq Chopin wasn't some ordinary cop. The strongest motive that comes to mind is... Wait, you really think... You think Chopin was the little lord? You're the last person I'd expect to believe in fairy tales red. Can you honestly say it doesn't fit? If we for a moment assume unicorns and dragons and shuchinokos are real, what do you mean? Shukinokos are very well documented. I can show you. I don't know what that is. Then yeah, it's possible Chopin was the little lord. And if any young blood knew it, they would want him dead. To prevent the old guard from abandoning them. 3 thoughts come to mind. 1, this is all guesswork on your part. Even the most zealous young blood wouldn't off a guy just because he happened to be about 30 years old and adopted. Man, this really did not work out well for Morgan, did it? Like, just the fact that she just happened to kill those people on the same night that a police officer happened to get murdered in the exact same spot. They would have had to have seen something that at least suggested it. 2, as I recall, the only young blood you know of is this Creek guy. And Creek was dead before Chopin even entered the building. Clears his name pretty handily. The only young blood I know. Ah, there's the girl. There's that girl that I've been suspicious of. The one who runs the, security detail and was helping London out. 3, I can think of at least one other group that would kill to prevent the little lord from reclaiming his throne. House Ikaria. And who better to cut him down than their most loyal rook? And that would neatly explain why the old guard would be pissed enough to try and kill Sosuke in a courtroom, unfortunately. Stay positive. Just because the old guard thinks Sosuke killed their precious heir doesn't mean he actually did. Yeah. Hey, Sarah, you got some footage of me making this next one from over there in the corner? Boss? We'll shoot a promo. I just found this hidden gem where this guy made the best drink ever. That kind of thing. Where it's kind of cheap and fake, but you're in on the joke and it's not pretending to be genuine. Boss, with the number of followers Kintsugi has, a video longer than 9 seconds posted at this time of day, I don't want to hear that depressing shit. We'll cross-post or whatever. Does it have to be that corner? The lighting will be bad. Any corner. Just make sure it's from a distance. From a distance? Wouldn't it be better framed if It will look like shaky cam found footage. It's more legit that way. My hands do not shake, but I will try. What are you doing? Making you a drink, obviously. It's quite the treat. Why? Because we've got some heavy shit to discuss. Starts with ice. What do we do with crushed ice at Kintsugi, Sarah? Kick it under the fridge. She's so cute. Exactly. Rock ice or nothing when you're mixing a cocktail. Hang on, you taught her that? There's a drain under there. Not in my kitchen. When the ice melts, it warps the floor. Half a lime, juiced. Pay no attention to the second half I'm using here, Sarah. Red likes it tart. Now you're the lawyer, and you've got a hell of a mind for all this stuff. Egg white. Toss the yolk unless it's a weekend, in which case. Put it in the bowl in the fridge. But it seems to me like you're approaching the shooter from every angle but the deadly serious one. Orgiant, if a customer says they prefer simple syrup, you let me know and we won't serve them anymore. You need to consider maybe the shooter wasn't there for Sosuke. I told you, they kicked me out after only a few minutes. No one's sending an assassin after me for that. Whiskey, black label or higher. Then shake the hell out of it. Word of mouth can be deadly down there in the fog. Oh, right, yeah, makes sense. She was there too the night of the murder, so, and there was that little kid. I keep talking about that little kid who was there, who was kind of like the lookout, who saw Morgan, and probably ratted her out, and they think she's got something to do with it, which is funny because that's exactly true. If they killed her, they actually would, well, no, if they're getting revenge specifically for the cop, they would not be killing the cop's killer, but she did kill a bunch of blue bloods. I saw her leave the building can easily become I saw her running away. If someone wanted to get to me, a courtroom filled with cops would be a pretty shitty place to choose to do it. Yeah, but it might have been the only time and place they knew you would be. Mint for garnish with charred cinnamon for smoky ambience. Serve immediately. Bitter blessing. Surely with that much lime it's a sour blessing, no? You want me to toss it out? Thanks for the drink. But I'm nobody, Ring. Nobody's coming to get me. Nobody even knows I exist. I hope you're right. I am. She's like, if people knew I existed and people knew what I was up to, I would have been in prison a long time ago. You won't know you're wrong until it's too late. Bottoms up. You get all that, Sarah? Yes, boss. Hey, bottoms up is just an expression. You're supposed to sip it, for gods. One last thing. Apparently, Sosuke's captors talked about some kind of huntsman. Puh. If the little lord's an urban legend, Huntsman's a goddamn boogeyman. Orcas shooting the shit around burning tires trying to make the noobs afraid to go off and piss by themselves. Right, so they're bullshit. I got the same answer elsewhere, but... Oh, they're very real. Pardon? Huntsmen. Not a species native to our shores, thank God, but they're real. You just said they're boogeymen. Yeah, and the fact they exist is what makes them so damn scary. Are they some sort of assassin, like Bresson, the shooter in the courtroom? Nothing so concrete. Huntsmen are virtual shapeshifters. You feel a chill down your spine one night on your way home from work, go to sleep, wake up at night to a man wearing your own face, choking the life out of you. While he calls your mom from your locked phone across the room in your own voice. But like I said, they're overseas in more contested parts of the world where the blue bloods are better funded. You wouldn't pay for one of them to come into the country unless you had a really good use case or a weapon only they could take full advantage of. Oh, that's the mask. I keep forgetting about the fact that I took that mask at the very beginning of this episode. Well, so there was a huntsman possibly maybe coming for that mask. And I have it and they might know that I've got it. I'll be sure to pass that on to Sosuke. Why? So Sosuke could start writing his will? I wouldn't bet against him, so long as he knows what he's up against. Urban legends are missed, but boogeymen are easy to kill. How do you kill a boogeyman? Same way I'd kill anybody else. With pleasure. Damn, she's cold. I love that you just forget a lot of the times that she's a killer, and then she reminds you. Oh, right. I actually need a recommendation from you. What kind of recommendation? A bar, I think, needs to be open tonight. Oh. What are you looking for? Well, it's not for me, but how much do you know about host clubs? Okay, I didn't think we were going in this direction. What the hell is that supposed to mean? That's her name, Han. She's the one I'm suspicious of, just what I said. You can't enter the crime scene until you pass our security clearances. You gotta be. You're a drug-pushing lowlife. Why would I need your permission to go anywhere? I take offense to that. I've never worked in pharma. Han, not the time to be a smartass. Raise, it'll only take 30 seconds. You're serious? This is reality? The city's expecting blue bloods to keep a crime scene secure? They're the ones committing the goddamn crimes. Hey, if that's your criteria, half the police force should be disqualified. Or is excessive force not a real crime? Are battered spouses not real victims? I guess assault's only assault when it's a real person on the receiving end. Sinus is legitimate, Raise. All the paperwork's in order and signed by our bosses. These idiots are walking around barehanded and knocking shit over and leaving trash all over the goddamn place. Should we give them badges while we're at it? Let them investigate crimes too? We already investigate crimes. You have any idea how many missing teens there are in the lower wards? No, because we find them. Because we actually give a shit about the people who live down here. Oh, and I'm sure your prices are very generous. Better if their parents get a bill from us than a letter of condolences from you. So sorry, ma'am, but he looked suspicious as he was running away. Han, not helping. Raise, let's calm down. Sorry that I'm not calm when we've got actual orcas stomping all over the scene where a cop was murdered. Last I counted, there were 5 bodies upstairs. Are both your eyes broken, or do you just not recognize anyone without a badge as human? Perhaps we have come at a bad time. Nothing for it. Gotta strike when the iron's hot. The iron seems very hot in this instance, Adonai. Sorry to interrupt, folks. Don't mind me, I'll just go take another look upstairs. Now you? Hey, why not? You nearly died once already today. Why not let these orcas give you the tour? Was that you giving me permission? No, you and London should both be at a goddamn hospital or whatever, getting debriefed. She doesn't need your permission. She has mine. Ma'am, you can go right ahead upstairs. Talk over me again, and I'll break your finger. Is that ad recording right now? That sounded like a threat. You want to hear a threat? Clearly, this isn't gonna work. So Han, why don't you head upstairs and wait for Morgan? I don't take orders from you. Who do you take orders from? Want me to give them a call? Let them know you're going around kicking hornets' nests and scratching your head over why everyone's getting stung? Whatever. You think you can just walk away after the shit you said? Turn around and take a walk, sunshine. London, if you think for even one... I'm not kidding, Farah. Take a walk. Oh, call her by her first name. Forget it. You can all go to hell for all I care. Oh, No, not you. For God's sake. Sorry about the bad timing. No, that was gonna blow up no matter what. Situations like this require compromise, and Ray's is uncompromising. At least you're around to balance her out. You might be the most compromised cop I've ever met. That was not a very nice thing to say. And it shows you haven't met that many cops. I'm surprised you're still welcome around here after what happened in the courtroom. Oh, Brenson? The Blue Bloods are a big organization, and Bresson was pretty firmly on the other side. Gals like Han who work in the gray areas might well live in a different world. If you say so. I just didn't think the Mafia would allow the death of one of their own to go unanswered. They sent him into a courtroom packed with police with a modded arm that only had one shot. I don't think they're surprised he didn't make it back. Will Detective Reyes be alright? She seemed angry. More so than usual. She'll be alright. Blowing up, yelling, cursing, that's nothing. Practically healthy. It's the ones who go quiet you gotta worry about. What brings you back here, anyway? We're pursuing leads. Sounds serious. Anyone go digging into Chopin after my implications earlier today? Lady Rockford will probably take it seriously, if only to cross it off the list, but other than her, I think you mostly just pissed people off. Morgan's like, I'm good at that. Lucky for you, I was able to convince some techs to confirm your soundproof Windows theory, but don't expect to be welcome at City Hall anytime soon. Hadn't counted on it. Whatever else he's innocent of, Chopin did get here before anyone else, and no one knows how. Look, if he really did get some kind of coded message or secret text, there's no trace of it in any comm logs on his personal devices. And it didn't come from any of the tech we've examined on site. Have you found any secret passages on the premises? Afraid not, little lady, but maybe you'll have better luck than me. Secret passages in what world? Hey, you know what? That could be foreshadowing that maybe we will find a secret passage. Was that your whole story back in the courtroom? You and Reyes happened to be in the area? If you don't want to take my word for it, Reyes will tell you the same thing. It doesn't seem like she'd want to talk to Adonai at the moment. Can you tell me exactly what you two saw when you arrived? The 10999 went out around 10:15 p.m., telling us that Chopin's heart had stopped. So we dashed across the street to an elevator. We were descending at 10:17 p.m. when Rogers reported he was dead. 10:21 p.m. we approached from the front of the building. Saw the door ajar, lock blown in. Then Sunshine and I started clearing the first floor. You didn't hurry up to the third floor where the dead cop was? Like I testified, Chopin had flatlined, and his own partner had confirmed it was no false alarm. We knew we couldn't do anything for him. Rogers had already apprehended the suspect. So SOP is we focus on securing the area and clearing the premises. How level-headed. So the officer Rogers we saw in court today really did take Sosuke down by himself? Yeah, charged in and pistol whipped him right in the head. I assume you found that the first floor was in fact clear? Yeah, all these vaults were empty. You didn't wait for Cyanus to show up with the spare keys? Surprised you didn't throw your back out kicking down doors. Sunshine helped. Besides, they weren't all locked. They weren't? Yeah, I remember that. That one right there was unlocked, room 107. Nothing inside either. Guessing the Blue Bloods missed a lock on a nightly roundup or something. Cyanus has unlocked every door in the building at this point, but when I first walked down this hall, and when I walked out the front door later, how did this hall look then? If you do manage to find some kind of silent alarm, I'll be impressed. If you prove Chopin was dirty, I'll be floored. But even then, how are you going to convince a jury anyone other than Sosuke killed him? It'll be difficult without accounting for the 4 dead Blue Bloods as well. But if you take it all as one set, it starts seeming plausible as an internal issue, don't you think? What do you want to pitch this as a young bloods and old guard going at it? Over what? The juicy bait that Chopin literally died over. Proposition 492. But what is there to discuss? That project would put money in everyone's pockets. My theory's correct and Chopin was killed because the young bloods didn't want the old guard abandoning them. The old guard have always hedged their bets on the little lord returning. Does that mean that Red Ink plans to profit off of Prop 492 or a Youngblood conspiracy? Those papers were tucked inside Creek's safe before I arrived. Well, good hunting. You won't be joining us? Not this time. I gotta go pump the brakes on Sunshine before she finds a bar. Try not to piss off the Blue Bloods with any more wild accusations while I'm gone. I would never. Take care. And that goes doubly for you, Sparky. What does Sparky mean? It's a nickname, because you're so bright. A nickname? She's like, humans have nicknames, and I have one too. But I guess people are always calling you ads whatever they like, huh? Sorry, I should have asked first. What do you mean? I'll just call you Sarah. But it's my nickname. You gave it to me. You can't just take it back. Well, okay then, Sparky. What the hell? Did you hate Spearmint that much? I think Spearmint's cute. That is... I would never want to seem ungrateful. Seems like the smell's starting to fade. Barely even the memory of blood, now that so many feet have trodden through here. Nothing lasts forever. Miss Hahn? What? No, I already called you this morning. No, they're not. No, they're not. You're being paranoid. Yes, I'm sure. Yes, I'll call you tonight. Bye. Didn't mean to interrupt another lover's quarrel. What? Oh, no, that was... dementia meds aren't working. They get confused this time of day. Sorry. Forget it. That's what I'm gonna do. Just gonna turn my phone off for a minute and forget. Cute android, by the way. So, what's up? There's a couple of ways of going about this, but none of them are surefire. Might as well start out big and see if there's anything to this theory. It's interesting that she's a blue blood, and yet, like, I guess downstairs, because of maybe the fluorescent lights or the lighting, they appeared blue, but here they're red. I think I'm just looking too much into it. It's weird that she's a blue blood, and the little spots, I'm assuming those are like little blood drops, are red. Oh, for some reason, hi, Matt Kim. Thank you for joining. For some reason, I didn't get an alert that you'd commented. Sarah's complete inability to detect sarcasm is so endearing. I love her. I love Sarah. Do the Blue Bloods use silent alarms? Yeah, of course. Thank you for telling us. Sure. I'm actually going to need a bit more than that, Miss Hahn. It's just Hahn. Did Creek have a silent alarm? She's hesitating all of a sudden. Yeah, this girl is guilty. Maybe not guilty, but she's suspicious as hell. Is she unsure of the answer, or did she just give her first answer without thinking about where it would lead? Nothing like that installed in the building. Arcs would have chewed it up and spat it out by now. The Arcs is not flawless. It can miss things. Look, you've seen the level of tech we blue bloods have. It's secure, but it ain't subtle. True. An Orca-run security firm wouldn't have quite as much luck hiding their subsystems from the police as David Asher did, Sarah. But the Arcs can miss things that aren't tech at all. A silent alarm that's analog? Ha! Let me know if you figure that one out. Either an alarm is analog and loud or digital and silent. They don't mix. She's defensive, but her logic is sound. Approaching it from the other angle, then. How could an analog silent alarm possibly function? A literal alarm, but one that can't be heard. Maybe it's because it was so loud. Maybe because the music was really loud in here, so maybe that was on purpose. And also there's the music downstairs is pretty loud too. One that can't be heard under normal circumstances. What a horrible smell. Like a dog whistle. You once bragged to me about your sense of smell. I don't think I was bragging. Could have sworn you puffed out your chest, like she's doing right now. Doesn't matter. If I asked you to sniff something out, could you find it? What would you like me to look for? I still don't have a clear picture of what happened after I left, but there's one thing I know should be here that hasn't turned up yet. Ooh, her knife? I think her knife is gone, right? Right, I'm the only one who knows about the knife, and while I don't know where it went, I do know it had plenty of blood on it when I last saw it. I want you to smell for blood. Adonai, do you really need me to help you find blood in here? I'm not asking you to sniff in here. I want you to smell out the window. I'll try. Once again, it's a situation where it's tough for her, where she knows stuff about this murder and about the scene that's off, but she can't tell anybody anything. There are many strong smells in this part of the city, Adonai. But there is something truly unpleasant as well. Something beneath the fire escape. Okay. Now, go fetch. You could ask nicely. Wait, Sarah? Yes? That's a very old, rusted fire escape. Take the stairs. You're too heavy. As you command, Adonai. Instant. Several minutes later, Sarah returned looking worse for wear and seemingly in a bad mood. Did the weight comment bother her that much? Adonai, I do not like digging through trash. It is not a dignified way to investigate. Digging in people's trash is the basis of all good investigation. Easy for you to say when you aren't wearing all white. Did you find something? Yes. My knife, and it's charred. I found it amongst the ashes of a blackened steel drum below the fire escape. It seems to have been the site of a fire. That sounds familiar. Wasn't there a barrel burning in the alley when I first scoped the place out? There were signs of a chemical flame retardant being applied to the barrel. Police must have put the fire out when they first secured the scene, so someone else ditched the knife. Interesting. Meaning the knife wasn't in a fire all night, but still. There does indeed appear to be blood on the knife, Adonai. So how did both the police and scientists miss it? Their noses aren't as good as yours, evidently. That is true, but then the question is going to be, how did Sarah be like, how did you know that that was going to be there? Or that there was going to be the missing weapon? But they have drones and dogs for this kind of thing. Yeah, but they have to actually use them. They'd have no reason to search the vicinity for a bloody knife if they found a sword sticking out of a corpse's midsection. Shall we ask the police to check for fingerprints? Fingerprints are mostly oil and sweat. Fire evaporates them both. Then we have to test and see whose blood is on the knife. But DNA is damaged by heat as well. You know, before DNA analysis, blood had another forensic use. You mean blood typing? The DNA on the knife might be too damaged, but modern analytical tools should at least be able to help identify the blood typing. That could work, Adonai. Great. Ready to get started? Pardon? You were capable of recognizing my DNA, weren't you? When we first met, yes, but... So why don't you try your hand at analyzing the blood type? It's gotta be simple, right? It might be, but Adonai, to analyze the blood on the knife, I'd have to use my tongue. Pretends to her tongue, she's gonna lick it. Pretends a lollipop or something. It's blood. Well done, blood. It'll taste like beef. You don't know what human blood tastes like. And Morgan's like, yeah, don't assume that I don't. Of course I don't. Look, the fire sanitized it. Probably. Just get it over with. I will reference this incident the next time we discuss raises, Adonai. Fine by me, because that's never happening. Oh my god, she's so cute. Wait, do I have to do like a mini game? This is so stinking cute. Okay, I thought I was gonna have to do something. Analyzing flavor. Analysis complete. Why would you give... Okay, I was like, why would you give an android the ability to vomit? That's just gross. Why would you give them bodily functions like that? I get wanting to make them humanoid, but I'm like, that just serves no positive benefit, in my opinion. What have you got? There is blood from more than one person present. Mostly B negative, I believe, with some AB negative blood around the tip. Alright, now I can cross-reference that with the rest of the data I have. Thank you for the report, Sarah. You've given me a new lead to follow. Yes, Adonai. And you've just made your first forensic contribution to an ongoing criminal investigation. How many androids can say that? There we go. She's easy to please. Alright, come on. We've got some boxes to tick. Our client Sosuke, according to Rogers, this is how we found him, or he found him, thrusting the sword into Chopin. Or merely trying to retrieve it. Not a huge improvement. He really was found in a terrible state, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. And that was before the police gave him his cop-killing welcome, and... Sarah, bring up the medical files on Sosuke. I want to go over everything we know about how he looked when Rogers arrested him. What specifically? He was covered in blood, right? Were samples taken for analysis? The blood on his torso and head were all his own. He got some of Chopin's blood on him when he was face down, being cuffed by Officer Rogers. And he also had a great deal of Trey's blood on his feet and pant leg. How exactly was he injured? His left hand was broken. He had internal bleeding throughout his torso. Bruising and rope burns on his wrists, where he was bound. Contusions all over the anterior side of his body. And he also sustained a large blunt force trauma wound on the back of his head. His biggest wound was to the back of his head? I guess if he fell backwards to the ground. There is also a small cut on his left hand. How small? As if he cut himself in the kitchen. Wasn't expecting a metaphor, but it's effective enough. Any other questions about our client's arrest, Adonai? Not unless there are some crime scene photos you've been holding out on me. I'm afraid not. How is it I'm the only one who made an effort to preserve the crime scene? Yeah, ironically, the killer preserving the crime scene. Ankur Tan, supposedly he was the first to die. Logically, he had to have been. He's the one who had the gun. If an attacker got it away from him, they must have done so first. I can see the gun is registered to him. Right, registered. Who would know looking at the guy with the gun and just nod him along? Patrol officers TC and HR 1 week ago. TC and HR. Tariq Chopin and Huey Rogers? The badge numbers match. It seems like they detained Ankur Tan briefly during a stop and frisk and found the gun on him. Finding a gun like this on anyone with priors during a stop and frisk, and the fact that he got to keep the gun is suspicious, right? At the very minimum, that's grounds for 28 days detainment. Why did they just let him go? Is it possible he was a criminal informant? If he was a CI, they wouldn't have even logged the incident. And besides, patrol officers don't have their own CIs. Then perhaps they let him go for some other reason. Because they'd already gotten what they wanted from him? Make sure to copy the file of that stop and frisk report. Right away. Like, they found him with the gun, and yet he got to keep the gun and didn't go to prison? Red ink protocol designed to make data difficult to physically redistribute. Couldn't anyone just take out their phone and snap a picture of the pages? It seems some of the responding officers attempted to. The arcs show they failed. That's some fancy ink. What do you see when you look at the pages? No more detail than you do, I'm afraid. It's strange, isn't it? They went to such lengths to protect this information. And yet, the papers were left out where Officer Chopin or anyone could read them. They weren't left there by Creek. I took the documents out of his safe so I could reach the mask. And I must have left them on the desk afterwards. Is there anything over here? Nope. I feel like there's got to be more than that. There we go. Is this evidence? It's a piece of crap some crime scene tech left behind. Nothing relevant. Yes, you're right. It's just displaying a news article they must have been reading. Apparently they've arrested the heartbreak killer. Morgan's like, haha, no they didn't. Copycat. Yes, the heartbreak killer's copycat, and it seems. Just let me skim it. Alright, individual suspected of planning an act of terror has been arrested. Police have not commented on whether the firearm in question was properly tagged, but insiders with close ties to the investigation claim the weapon itself was not, but led to the arrest. We've identified a troubling pattern of net activity in the days leading up to the arrest concerning searches and attempts to access old net portals. The suspect had already been on our radar by that point, so when they posted the manifesto, we were able to quickly secure a warrant for their arrest. Okay, praise Heartbreak's hardline stance against neoliberal corporate soft power, enlisting a number of complaints and criticisms against the recent business decisions made by Hanami Robotics. Stock prices steadily increase. But Hanami CFO has since been sent speaking. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. It's nothing. It's nothing. This is nothing. A fluff piece. Can't believe anyone would read or write these rags. I suppose it could have been a coincidence. That's exactly what it is. Maybe I should have chose the ... instead, because usually when you pick the right answer, you get extra those chips. So this is where they found Krieg's body. He was the only one who didn't die instantly. If anyone had a chance to use a silent alarm. No, he must have been paralyzed in between the time he was shot and his actual expiration. They weren't paralyzed. What do you mean? If they had been paralyzed, Yumi would have noticed that in her autopsy. That's true. But he just sat there limp the whole time. Didn't even try to move. He was playing dead? Letting me think he couldn't move? So I wouldn't notice his? Oh, hello! Crashing slowly. I know nothing about this game. Going in blind. Oh boy. I would recommend, hopefully you've watched the other live streams, because I'm pretty deep into this mission, or this court case, I guess, by now. It's really good, though. But yeah, definitely, like, I would recommend, if you haven't watched the earlier parts of it, you will be very confused. But thank you for joining the live stream. Was anything found in his hands? Anything at all? It doesn't seem like it. They weren't holding something by the time their body got to the morgue. If he had been holding something but dropped it when he died. Help me look. For what? Anything small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. I wonder if Sarah's out. I doubt she would get suspicious about the fact that first I told her to, like, look for something outside of the room that could possibly be covered in blood, and now I'm like, maybe he had something on him where he was like, he set off an alarm. Sarah's gonna be like, why are you asking us to do these things? Like, what do you know? And also the fact that I said that he was paralyzed, when Sarah's like, well, the coroner didn't say anything about him being paralyzed. Oh, what's this? What was that? Did you just jump? I was merely surprised by the sound. It is like a dog whistle. Oh, thank you. I listen to your videos, like story-driven podcast. Big fan of what you do. Thank you so much. That's very sweet. So I love how she said something like a silent alarm, like a dog whistle, and it seemed to spook Sarah. What sound? I just brushed against this. This little toy thing. You can hear it? I can, and it's not exactly pleasant on the ears. Could any android hear it, or is this some special feature David gave you? I'd imagine any android or robot or electronic device with modern features could pick up this tone. Maybe I should close the window before I test it anymore. Stop torturing all the dogs in the neighborhood. So maybe this was the thing that alerted the cop? This is maybe the silent alarm? Closing the window wouldn't matter. It's soundproof, though. But the specific frequency of this tone is not in your audible spectrum to begin with. Unless Chopin also happens to be like an android or something. I don't understand how this would work. We gotta figure about, like, how did Chopin get... Because he was out, like, he had the window open. He was listening, I guess, for something to all of a sudden be like, we have to go to this place. So this could be it, but she's saying that it's specifically for people who, like, are androids or something electronic. Right, but do you really think Krieg was toying with that nuisance maker in their final moments? So that's interesting. That's an interesting revelation. Kim, that is a very good summary of what Of the Devil is. It's like Phoenix Wright, but sci-fi, and the protag is a sociopath. Very true. That about wraps it up here. Miss Han, since Sinus is technically in charge of securing the crime scene, what should we do with this? Do with what? Oh. 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 That is connected to her phone. Shit. Oh, so maybe that was like he pressed that button to alert Han, like, I'm in danger. So maybe she was at the crime scene and then she killed the cop? Don't I please refrain from pressing that button any more than necessary? I'm sorry, Sarah. I can see you don't like it. But Miss Han's phone doesn't seem to like it either. Ooh, it's just Han. And I don't know what you're talking about. I get messages all the time. Oh, shit. Han, ma'am, if you could please just admit it so she stops pressing that. Fine. Whatever. Yes, you found one of our alarms. Pretty clever system. Not really. It's just an app. You set the frequency and get a note if the app picks it up. The range? A couple of kilometers. Thanks for clearing that up. So she was in the area, obviously. Well, I have you here. Exactly how fast did you show up to the scene of the crime? Pardon? This is a blue blood neighborhood. Do you really expect people to believe the cops lumbered their way here faster than any of you could? Mm-hmm. What exactly are you trying to say? Yeah, I'm tuned to that frequency, but I'm tuned into a lot of frequencies. It's a good way of communicating without the Megs or the pigs listening in. So, you didn't get this alarm the night of the incident? Didn't even know it went off that night. You got proof it did? Can you explain how else Officer Chopin could have gotten here? Nah, not my job to either. So he had it pinged on his phone as well, I guess. Is it your job to come to a fellow Blue Blood's aid when they're desperately calling for help? I didn't know Creek like that. I didn't say Creek was the one who had this. Oh, she is just incriminating herself so hard right now. I saw where you were poking around, and they're the head of the pod. I assumed. Creek's a stranger to me, even though you're both young bloods. What? I'm guessing that's what the tattoo means. Neither of you make much effort to hide it. Right? Come on. She's got the tattoo there. I didn't make the connection that Creek had the same tattoo, though. It is plainly visible, even in their autopsy photos. You have no idea what this ink means. Would you tell us what it means? Blood bag. What? The old guard used you as donors. Gangsters live a life of drugs, smoking, drinking, and back alley mods. Then end up with livers and kidneys that look like charred steak. Who could have guessed? Got no children because the Ikaria killed them all. Can't get on the donor list because they're geriatric, reviled crime lords. So what do? Hey kid, want to be a gangster? Let me see if you got what it takes. Ooh, can we check her blood type? Maybe that, I don't know if that would help at all. But literally the whole thing was about like the blood types. She's calling herself a blood bag. Hold still while I prick your finger. They tattooed our torsos because even if you mod off all 4 limbs, you'll still... I wonder if the blood placement, like, I can't remember if it's the 3 dots, the 3, like, blood drips. I wonder if that is connected to what type blood type they have. Maybe. So that, like, you can just look at a glance, be like, oh, you're A positive, you're A negative. Maybe? Every drop an indicator of quality. I'm a universal donor, so I got... Okay, so it is. I should just waited a second. I'm a universal donor, so I got all 3. Triple A graded, just like meat. And Creek? Save it for the trial, lady. I mean, I was pretty suspicious of her. Now she almost seems so suspicious that I'm like, maybe it'll just be someone else that you wouldn't expect. Are we done here, you think? Not quite. Emma's argument is that Sosuke didn't escape from here. He was brought out to the other room to be questioned, and then he broke free. I know that's not true. Sosuke would have been stuck here till the police arrived if I hadn't handed him the Mag US to, well, frame him. And the knife, also to frame him. But secondarily, so that he could cut himself free from... his bindings. Those bloody rags. Remember what Sosuke told us when we first met? That he was bound in here the whole time until his bad Samaritan came along and gave him a knife. Now we know what knife he was talking about. And now I want to know whose blood this is. The blood on the bindings. It would have to belong to Sosuke, wouldn't it? All the other bodily fluids in this room do. Probably. But I need to know. Oh no, she's gonna lick it again. You've already done it once. What's one more time? One more time will surely make me sick. Please, Adonai, let us ask one of the scientist employees on standby to analyze it. They have a record for very fast turnaround on DNA tests, I promise. I can show you customer reviews. That's right, Scientist does DNA testing. typically paternity tests as part of their private investigative services, but they've been assisting the police with DNA analysis around the scene. I will flag the bindings to be analyzed. Wait, I have already made the request. Oh no, she's gonna be like, I mean, if the head of the scientist is possibly in on this, that could be compromised information. If you insist on making me test the bindings myself now, you will only be upsetting my stomach to satisfy your own impatience. Fine, but I'm gonna cite this incident the next time we discuss a raise. Really is a shithole in here though, huh? I agree with your sentiment, if not your choice of words. It feels like a cruel place. What is it? Was there something we missed in here, Adonai? No, not in here. The windows. They were closed when Creek was shot. Still closed when Chopin and Rogers arrived on site. But they were open by the time Rogers got to this room. I used that contradiction to argue for the presence of a third party, because someone must have opened them to go down the fire escape. And then there was the fire that was, or the knife was thrown into the oil drum by the fire escape. And then what? They must have dropped down to the alley and ran away, right? Yeah, that's one option. What's the other? There's also the whole thing with that unlocked room, right? That's suspicious. Would it kill them to do some sweeping around here? I guess that would be contaminating the crime scene at this point. Right, I think I mentioned this too about the fact that they could have just taken, the killer could have just taken the fire escape down one floor into this room. But then there's a whole thing like London was like, well, we did a sweep of the place and then so did the cops and they didn't find anyone. I guess that would be contaminating the crime scene at this point. But then what did all those cops and scientist chumps actually do? Lean on walls and screw around on their phones? I think you're being a bit harsh in your assessment. But you aren't alone in your criticism. Detective Brace had much to say about how scientist employees were not wearing gloves and knocking over trash. If they had picked up trash, they'd be removing evidence. The arcs would light up. Adding trash? Oh yeah, so it definitely looks like they're doing a cover-up job. Help me look through this. Garbage again? Already? Just start looking. Any of it requires DNA analysis. Wait, there. Red. I don't smell any blood. Not blood. Ink. A torn page of the red ink documents, with what looks like a shoe print. Shall we try and match it to samples? Good luck. Cops and security types all wear the same kinds of boots. On top of which, 99 out of 100 shoes in the city are made by the same two Megs. But if the print isn't useful, that just leaves the actual text, and that looks like the letters were all run through the wash a couple dozen too many times. Well, it isn't particularly informative, and I don't understand exactly how this clue fits in with everything else we've seen, but doesn't this seem important? How could it have been lying here neglected this whole time? Nah, princess, I'll have to call you right back. Of course, wouldn't dream of it. Come on, you know me. What'd you find there? More dead man's garbage? Keep it up and you girls are gonna make me look bad. Happy to be of assistance. So would you like to add this to the arcs, or should I? Well, seems like you've got momentum going, so please don't let me get in your way. You don't wear gloves on the job, Miss Han. It's just Han, but you already know that. You probably also know they don't really make them in my size. So, we found your fingerprints in here, on those windows, or even upstairs. Oh man, I'd be pretty embarrassed. We almost always get rated 5 stars. So that could also be like plausible deniability, where she's like, well, I don't wear gloves when I'm, you know, on the crime scene, so yeah, my fingerprints will appear everywhere. So did you need me to walk you out? I'll be fine, thanks. Suit yourself. Just be careful you don't get lost. Sun will be going down soon. Oh, a little bit of a not so subtle threat there. It could be hard to find your way back in the dark. Yeah, okay. This idea is starting to look like a pretty safe bet. Your theory that Chopin was assassinated as an attack on the Old Guard? But how can we confirm it? We still haven't met anyone from the Old Guard. Though, even if we had, it occurs to me they would be reluctant to speak with Sosuke Ikaria's legal team. Don't be so pessimistic. The enemy of my enemy is usually willing to at least talk. And talk is where I do all my best work. Where do we look then? You still got the address boss gave us? Oh, the host club? I don't know how that factors into this, but we will see in a moment. Maybe the person that Han's talking to, always calling her princess, maybe she works at the host club? Hey there, tall, red, and mysterious. Ladies, please come in. Don't be shy. Let me guide you to a booth. Local host. Should we take a seat for now? Will taste as expensive as yours? You get near a menu, these people will drain my checking account and an overpriced champagne faster than I can blink. Oh, champagne! As much as you'd like. This is gonna derail fast if I don't find a way to shut it down. A surefire way to get exactly the right kind of attention and douse their salesmanship in one go. I'll need to go with that. Hey, please don't frown. A smile would suit your pretty face much. I need to speak with your manager. Morgan's like, I'm not Morgan. Today, I'm Karen. What happened? They're all walking away. Hey, mama, yeah, there's some kind of, I don't know, accountant or whatever who wants to talk to you. The voice on the other end of his earpiece grumbles a response. A cranky one, judging by his reaction. Mama will be out in a second. You're expected to buy something in the meantime. You got tap water? You don't want to drink the tap water in this district. Soda water? It's all overpriced, lady. You might as well get something you'll enjoy. I thought my first visit to a host club would be more celebratory than this. How much thought have you given this subject? Also, is nobody commenting on the fact that I look to have an underage person with me? I guess they don't care. Do you think they were being literal when they said you were expected to make a purchase? Probably. Doesn't mean I'll oblige them. It's Rena. Hey, just in time for the host club. Come on, you know it's always the best part. Though it's not like spending money here will make them less likely to cooperate. I would offer some suggestions based on customer reviews and price points, but for some reason, I don't see prices listed on any of the items on their menu. Was a mistake made when formatting the data? I really hate this place. Let's go with beer. I feel like beer would probably be the cheapest thing. Hey buddy, one beer, whatever's on tap. The bartender gives me a stare that's trying very hard to be withering. Underneath the soft, warm lights and all the makeup, though, the message feels muddled. As expected, what finally arrives is mostly foam. Boss would not approve of their pouring technique. I don't care if it's dishwater and food coloring, as long as it gets me an in. Oop, there's something over here. Have you ever been to an establishment like this before? No, not even when you were apprenticing? There may have been certain work parties where attendance was strongly encouraged, but I never set foot within a kilometer of a place like this otherwise. I suppose if you have a hard spending limit, there's only so much you can enjoy. And it's not a matter of cost, it's a matter of taste. Surely everyone enjoys being paid attention, no? It's flattering. Oh, Sarah, honey, you would get your wallet drained so quick here. She'd be like, everyone's being so nice to me. Not everyone takes to being complimented. I see. So you respond more to being challenged. What do you think? Perhaps not. Bad enough I'm walking into the lion's den here, stepping even further into blue blood territory to defend an Ikaria assassin. Do I really have to wait for the shoe to drop in a place this sleazy? Are you perhaps not enjoying yourself, Adonai? You're getting better at picking up on that. You're frowning quite openly. Are we in danger of getting arrested? There's nothing illegal about a host club. So, are you just uncomfortable? Unamused. Yeah, I've been to one time I went to, I guess you would call it a host club, for a bachelorette party. It was not an enjoyable experience for me. I was like, it just felt so awkward. It's just all so fake. Alright, are we advancing? Is there anything else I can check out here? Something up here? I guess we're advancing. Alright, they're making me wait. Could be a power move. Could be they're just disorganized. Either way, standing here staring at the wall with my arms crossed would signal I'm not amused. Let's poke around. That's what we do, right? Guess I'm not willing to bore myself to tears just to spite them. Oh, okay. Well, I mean... Oh, I didn't check this one out. What kind of light reading gets tossed around a club like this? Probably something along the lines of, I spent every night at a host club for 1 year. Here's what the staff taught me about emotional workloads in corporate settings. Oh wait, this actually looks somewhat interesting. Okay, I just kind of like just breeze through these. Reports of fungal infections, tensions are beginning to rise, bamboo becoming a premier organic manufacturing construction material, tailored to grow specifically in small numbers, blah blah blah. Not the reading material I expected to find here, but judging from the article, the Megs are getting concerned about growing fungus. The fungus sounds nasty. It'll chew through their crops and the Megs will take a loss? Guess they'll engineer their way around that issue soon enough. Easier to update the monoculture genetics than your entire global economic model. Megs are probably more concerned about all the young people getting agitated about their job security. The warmer the waters, the bigger the storms they brew. Mama on deck. The big cheese. Crashy Sully says, what games do I play off stream? To be honest, these days I don't really have time to be playing games off stream. The games I do play tend to be like more, I guess you would call them like casual or like cozy games. You know, I still occasionally delve into like Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, when I've got the time. Like, basically games I can just kind of turn my brain off, just, like, pick up and play for a little bit, and then... Because it's just, like... It's not a full-time job, but when a portion of your job is to play games, and then you also have, like, an actual real-life job as well, you get kind of burnt out, so I was like, I don't really play a lot of big games on my... Because I don't have a lot of downtime. I do want to start... I picked up Ghost of Yote for my husband for his birthday last month. I do want to start that at some point. I really liked Ghost of Tsushima. So I would really like to play that. It's just a big time commitment. Pokapia. I am interested in that. Because isn't that for the Switch 2 exclusively, I think? I've heard it's very good. I haven't played a Pokemon game since freaking I think Sun and Moon was my last one. Like, I'm definitely more of a old generation type. Like, I'm an old millennial, so like I played the old generations. But yeah, Sun and Moon was my last kind of like mainline game. I played a little bit of Arceus as well. But Pokapia, is that how you pronounce it? I've been seeing nothing but good things about it. But yeah, I have a Switch, but I don't have a Switch 2, and I think, is it not exclusive for the Switch 2? I haven't really looked too much into it. If it's for the OG Switch as well, I'm like, yeah, maybe I will pick that up. But to be honest, I also don't really pick up new games because they're just so expensive. Anytime you want to do a Pokemon Let's Play, I will watch all of it. Hey, shameless plug. If you haven't seen it, yeah, it is Switch 2 only. Yeah, I heard that because I think people were saying like, oh, I don't want to spend, you know, $700 to play a Pokemon game. That's unfortunate, but no, shameless plug. Sorry to go off tangent, guys, but shameless plug. If you would like to, I actually did do a Pokemon Heart Gold Nuzlocke, and it's a randomizer Nuzlocke. I did it a while ago, a few years ago. I have a playlist on my channel. So you can check that out. I do actually have a Pokemon Let's Play, technically. But yeah, anyway, back to this. What exactly are you expecting? With a title like Mama, I would expect a stern but fair, nurturing figure who... What the hell do you want? Is that how you greet all your customers? You bought a drink? A beer. Though it was mostly foam. Beer and wine coolers ain't drinks. That shit don't... Oh, no. Really? I lost points for that? Shit, that's what I get for being cheap. That shit doesn't count for anything. Especially not paired up against the fact that you're a goddamn Karian lawyer sniffing around my lawful place of business. Shit, should have gone for the champagne. So nice to be noticed. But you came out here anyway. I take it that means you're willing to talk? Was my mouth flapping not a clear enough sign? Introductions, then. I'm Morgan, Esquire, criminal defense attorney representing Sosuke Ikaria. With a glowing green toaster as your +1. Couldn't have put it better myself, Miss Kim. Hana, small business owner. And one of the more influential members of the Blue Blood Old Guard, I take it. The Old Guard are the only Blue Bloods that have any influence at all. First gens and young bloods should count themselves lucky to be middle management. Should you really be calling them young bloods? Oh, now the neon robot's gonna preach to us about political correctness? Really, madam? I know PC. My gen invented PC. We got PC coming out of our ears. So I mean it when I say young blood is a term of endearment. Well then, I guess it's better than blood bags, right? Well then, I won't hesitate to use it. To their face? Better not. They'll knock your teeth out. How about a trade, Miss Kim? Mrs., you're talking to a widow. One who doesn't need anything from you, not the best position to start bargaining from. We're trading information. You think I can't give you anything? You're not thinking very hard. Oh yeah? What do you think what do you think you've got? Something I can tell her she doesn't already know? Ooh, let's see. Haha, thank you. Alright, got a couple of people that didn't even know I played a... Yeah, it was a while ago I did it. So yeah, Pokemon... Actually, it was Soul Silver. Pokemon Soul Silver, Nuzlocke. Yeah, I did that a few years ago. So you guys got some watching material after this if you want to. Okay. Oh, shoot. What wouldn't she know? I feel like she wouldn't know any of these things. I feel like she might know a little Lord ID, though. Bresson's fates. I feel like she would know that as well. Creek's killer? She'd probably be interested in the real answer, but it's not the one I'm willing to give. And at the moment, I don't even have that great of a patsy to put forward. Okay, let's go with Little Lord. Okay, wow, literally the last thing I choose. Even if I'm right, I'd only be telling her Chopin's dead and of no use to her. There's also the chance she has no idea the Little Lord's real, in which case I'd be showing way more of my hand than I'd like. At least I'm not getting dinged for the wrong choices here. I can tell you what happened at the courthouse today. Oh shit, yeah, that would make sense because they turned off the cameras, so they would have no idea. If something worth knowing had happened, it'd be in the news by now. There's currently a blackout on media coverage. I forgot about that. Of today's events. There's always leaks. Finding one will take time. I can give you a first-hand account right now. Let's hear it. Bresson? What a goddamn idiot. Completely useless. He did manage to infiltrate an entire courthouse full of police officers, even knowing he wouldn't make it out alive. And he still failed to hit the easiest shot of his life. But Bresson's just an incompetent addict. The useless idiot is the one who sent him there. Not you, I take it? Old Guard sounds like it moves slow and wise, but we've got our fair share of hot-headed dumbasses, too. Impatient, hot-headed dumbasses. Time is money. My turn to ask a question. Money. Is that why you've been going after Makoto? Trying to drum up a king's ransom because you can't go to war without a war chest? Who says we're at war? Who says we're in any rush? Our plans are measured in decades, you little shit. No, time isn't on your side right now. Right now, more than anything, you need money. Says who? You? Says the headlines. Time's running out before you miss the bus on... Oh yeah, Nirvana, because they're going to legalize it, right? Nirvana. Hey, I remembered some stuff. Haha. Everyone in the capital knows it will be legalized before the end of the year. Bah, party drug, dumb money. Yes, dumb money. Best kind of money there is. You could rake it in by the truckload, if you had the starting capital to build a dispensary network beforehand. As things stand, the gray wave is going to roll your hard work up in a ball and hand it off gently to the Megs. And the Ikaria. You've been losing this game to them for 3 decades straight, but I can see you still haven't gotten used to it. Of course not. Who the hell would just roll over for those upstart bootlicking? That goddamn fox, smirking behind his perfumed incenses and painted screens and sheets of gold leaf. Should have cut out his eyes when I had the chance. I'm acquainted with the Hound. Who's the fox? Should we conduct a survey of all the IFG members' back tattoos? The fox, the kitsune. Goddamn Daisuke Ikaria, of course. The family's patriarch. Haven't had the chance to meet him in person. Ha, I knew there'd be a reason an Ikaria lawyer didn't already stink of cigar smoke. Adonai does smoke, despite my repeated warnings about the health hazards. Have you had your olfactory checkup lately? Loss of smell can be the first sign of... I don't stink, that's the takeaway. No, admit it. You want to capture Makoto Ikaria so you can afford to ride Nirvana to legitimacy. I don't want to capture Makoto Ikaria. You know our history. In brief. So, what part of that summary made you think that if I had a chance to end the Ikarian line, I wouldn't take it immediately? Are you speaking for yourself or for the whole old guard? Nah, my turn to ask. Is the Hound gonna make it? You asking about my legal defense strategy? His injuries. Any chance he's gonna keel over from an infection after Creek's pod worked him over? Did Bresson somehow manage to nick him? He is still recovering from the injuries he sustained when captured, but he was not harmed today during the incident in the courtroom. Yeah, Bresson didn't even manage a scratch. Not a scratch, huh? Did he even get a shot off? A detective on the scene responded before he could. A detective? Oh, shit. we should be careful about this, because I was like, oh, we maybe don't want to say who the cop is, because then he could be a target because they killed one of their dudes. Yes, why? Bah, not wasting a question on him of all people. Speaking of which, the bottle spun back around. Are the Blue Bloods working with the Chopin family to profit off of Proposition 492? Ha! You missed that one. Try another. What do you mean? You think Mr. and Mr. Chopin are working hand in hand with us for a little cross-class embezzling? Those rich pricks wouldn't piss on us if we were on fire, and the feeling's mutual. But they're backing Proposition 492. If you could buy the land they need before the city knows it needs it, the Chopin family aren't your collaborators. They're your marks. Bingo, kid gets a prize. Or they were. Plan's worthless now. That whole courtroom heard me explain how Creek had red ink documents on Proposition 492. Whatever blueprints, whatever land the city had in mind, they'll change all of it. Thanks for that, by the way. Don't blame me, your plan was always fragile. It was destined to collapse the moment anyone with more pull than a ticketing officer heard the Blue Bloods had eyes on the real estate. Meaning the Blue Bloods would kill to keep those documents from circulating. Yeah, well, that's just how it goes for Plan Bs. Plan B? No, answer me this. What did you see on those red ink docs that tipped our hand about Prop 492? Well, it was mentioned in abbreviation, if not in name. P492. That was a pretty big giveaway. You must have had more to go on than that. Names, diagrams. I saw Councilman Long's name on there. Huh. Long, that sloppy bastard. Wait, you didn't know what was on those papers? Not exactly. You didn't know where Prop 492 leaked from. What are you saying? It leaked from the Brat Creek, obviously. Red ink means it was printed off from somewhere you trust, in a place run by people you trust. And it doesn't sound like you trusted Creek. Are these your questions? Because they're terrible. And pointless. Blondie's already dead. So Chopin wasn't in on the plan. What possibilities are left, then? Might as well try asking while I have the chance. My client overheard something interesting during his captivity. Talk of the Blue Bloods bringing in a Huntsman. Fake. You don't even know what that means. Your client heard wrong, and you're a fool for believing him without any proof. Sorry, I guess he misheard. He must have also misheard that you brought a no mask into the city. Yeah, let's talk about this mask, huh? Did Sosuke mention that? It's called a bluff, Sarah. Yeah, he must have been delirious. After all, if there had been a no mask at the scene, it would have turned up during the police investigation. Huntsman, ridiculous. Maybe he's real, maybe he's fake, maybe he's already behind you. Phantoms like that get their power from uncertainty. If I answered your question at all, that would be your answer. Schrodinger's box is already open, though, and the mask isn't there anymore. If it's not in the hands of the Huntsman, then who has it? It's so funny because we know it's us. We have it. A dead man who just doesn't know it yet. Final round. But what if we still want to ask? Our house, my rules. Who hired you? Why would she spend her final question on that? Interesting. Because she's probably going to be like, is it Makoto? Or is it the house? Do I come out right out and say Makoto was the one who hired me? I'll say Makoto. Makoto, if that wasn't already clear. Uh-huh. You, some no-name nobody with no connections to any of the families. The preteen heir looked you up and hired you to defend his hound. Either you're dumber than you look, or just less curious than the lobotomites, but either way, you really don't know the answer, do you? No, I don't, which I can freely admit. So why does having it pointed out feel like such a defeat? Come to think of it, I have one last question myself. That ain't the deal. Then it can be rhetorical. What are you gonna do? You lost all your heirs during the fall of the leaves. Don't I? You're relieved by the International Blue Bloods for locking your treasure behind GFA you can't crack. Or reviled. Not revealed. Now all the old guard need transplants and transfusions from the first and second gens just to stay alive. And they won't be glad to keep that up forever. Eventually you, all of you, will die. Will you rest in peace knowing everything you ever managed to build will be laundered at what? 30%? 40%? 35% just to end up in the hands of some punks you tutored? What a nice young girl you are, worrying about your elders. Well, don't worry your pretty little head over dear, sweet granny here. Because she's a mean old bitch in a line of work where anyone stupid dies off young. She and hers are going to be just fine. Don't forget to close your tab before you go. Did you get any useful information from your rhetorical question, Adonai? The question irritated her, but it didn't make her despair. I may have misread this. The old guard have a way forward. Proposition 492 is no longer an option, leaving them with Plan A. The little lord? But Tariq Chopin is dead. Yeah, which means he's not the lord. Yeah, he is. So they're not too concerned about that. So, how dare they, after all they put him through down there in that festering hole of a city district, try and kill Sosuke in a courtroom of all places. The nerve of those blue blood scum. If we just wait for him to stop, we'll be standing here until morning. So, should we speak up? I don't know. I'm terrible with children. Listen, just keep nodding, and if he calms down enough to ask a non-rhetorical question, get my attention. What are you gonna do? Try consulting an expert. What do kids your age like? Not my birthday. I'm not asking for you. And I'm not a kid, so I wouldn't know. If it's for Sarah, I'm not a robot either. What would someone younger than you like? I don't know. Even one grade below me. Their sense of humor is impenetrable. Does this feel so absolutely, like, relatable? Now granted, I've worked with some great people who are younger, because I am almost 40, and I've worked with, like, some 20-somethings, and they're great. But, oh my goodness. I feel like I don't feel my age. I still sometimes feel like I could get away with, like, you know, 20s, late 20s. And I do feel like I'm still kind of in my 20s. And then I talk to 20-year-olds and I'm like, oh no, I am old, actually. And I'm someone who's terminally online. Like, I feel like I kind of get the culture. But yeah, my goodness, sometimes I was just like, yeah, I am old. And I do not understand some young people sometimes. Other day, the school announced they're going to be doing test prep at every grade level. And the top comment, before it got deleted, was a picture of a fish with boots. Yeah, this is me trying to keep up with freaking memes these days. It's just like, what? And the caption was, battering me and frying me in oil for 4 minutes on each side. It's not that impenetrable. It's a very basic non sequitur. How's this for non sequitur? Go ask someone else. All you did was get back on topic. Why are you even asking? I've been hired by a youth. This is what I call them sometimes, as lovingly, like I will call some of, you know, like some of my younger coworkers. I'd be like, oh, the youth. And I need to interrupt their temper tantrum. Just yell 6-7. Well, what do you want me to do from here? Hack them some fork, knife, bucks. Oh my god, I was gonna make a joke about Fortnite. I love that. And be like, hey, you got Fortnite? Do you play Fortnite? What is that? Would that work? Also, what do you mean a youth hired you? Oh, so they must be like rich? Yes. I'm like the worst to ask for advice then. What do I know about rich kids? Your academy's full of them. Why do you think I do as much of my schoolwork as possible for my dorm? Don't you at least have a roommate? Nope. Never got assigned one. Guess there was some kind of unavoidable computer error on their end. This is hopeless. You're usually good at gift giving and shit. Button her up. Let's try that again. Buttering up judges, bribing court officials, slipping coins in advisors' purses. You have a very antiquated view of what my work entails. Medieval, in fact. I heard he passed, did you know? That's great. Whatever photo that is failed to send. God damn it. I mean, what would you do if they were a rich adult? Flatter them or whatever. Rich adults are used to people wanting their money. Flattery puts them on guard. So what's the approach? Opposite, insult them. You approach them as though you already work for them. Pretend you're a butler. Acting on wordless commands they're given without an original thought in your head. They aren't suspicious of anyone they feel they already own. That mostly makes sense, so do that. They probably got more in common with a rich adult than kids their own age. Or, you know, anyone else with a soul. Unless there's some reason you can't do your iconic butler technique here. Because I don't want to act subservient to a child. Rose understood a Fortnite reference. She's a fraud pretending to be a millennial. Did I not just say I'm perpetually online? I'm terminally online. Come on. I promise you. I'm turning 38 this year. If that's not millennial, I don't know what is. I do feel like I said, maybe it's because I just want to feel like I'm younger than I am. I do try to keep up with what's going on, you know, what the youths are up to, but especially with music, man, I think that's the thing where I'm the most, like, I'm stuck listening to the stuff I was listening to, like, in the 90s to, like, the late 2000s, early 2010s. I'm like, I barely listen to new music, and maybe that's a little bit, silly of me to do, to, like, stop myself from listening to new stuff, and I'm like, nah, that's the stuff I like, and I don't really seek out new stuff. Sosuke did strain himself slightly when he tried to tackle me to the ground, but that was the extent of it. Yes, as my ad says, no one was hurt. Well, the attacker was part of an officer-involved shooting, but no one else was hurt. Oh, well then perhaps we should just forgive all and make peace. Those fools will regret their actions. The anger of the house, once aroused, is not easily satisfied. Shit, I thought there was a lull, but he's ready to start back up again. As Sun Tzu says, if your opponent is of color, temper, seek to irritate them. Well, yes, but please calm yourself, Makoto of House Ikaria. We need to speak with you. Damn, Sarah, alright. About what? About Sosuke. You think he's done something to deserve this? That's not what There is nothing Sosuke could have done to justify what the Blue Bloods have put him through. I assumed as much, but Makoto has no idea what the Hound of Ikaria was doing up until a year ago, does he? These questions are foolish. I will not waste my time. I love that Sarah's, like, able to just kind of temper him a bit. A wise man can learn more from a foolish question than a fool can learn from a wise answer. Quote, the Bhagavad Gita all you want, robot girl. It is not impressive for a machine to... Bruce Lee said that. Well, he was probably paraphrasing at the time. Will you help us out or not, Makoto? Please. If it's for Sosuke, enough. Electric blue irises flash a deadly glare. The room's shadow seems to extend in his presence, curling and deepening like ink dropped into water. That is a gangster. Chairman. All of you, show respect now. He says it out of practice, without actually looking around the room. One glance would have shown him there was no need to demand respect. Everyone's head was already bowed. This is a man who is used to others not meeting his eyes. The rest of you get lost. Their practiced obedience didn't betray them. They all slipped away into the halls of the complex without so much as a creak on the floorboards, and even so their anxiety was screaming at me like a bad tell begging to be taken advantage of. His presence here today was not expected. Now then, come here, Makotan. Grandpa! Cute. How are things on the front lines, huh? Makoto's the heir, so the chairman is his grandfather, of course, but my little warlord making his enemies tremble with fear every time he sets foot out the door. I wasn't expecting the head of a house of nobility to be so affectionate. I thought you and father was still in the capital. Well, we were, and we made a lot of powerful people in that city very frustrated while we were at it. And made a lot of frustrating people very powerful, I'm sure. Wish I had seen their dumb faces solemnly nodding when I canceled my meetings, just to fly home and see my grandson. That's kinda cute. Chairman, apologies for lack of introduction. I know exactly who she is. She's our lawyer. Any good? She is not entirely incompetent. I would hope he could say more than that. And she is also somewhat perceptive, Chairman. Knows when to keep her mouth shut, clearly. How bad can she be? Her methods are odd. She came here to ask me about Sosuke for some reason. Ah ha ha, not another word. Chairman, back in the storehouse, on the second floor, there's a cask of sake that I won in a drinking game 5 or I suppose it's been 6 years ago now. Would you go and fetch it for your grandfather? Of course, but old trick of the trade. One sip and anything we tell her becomes inadmissible in court. I see. Very clever, Chairman. Makoto's allowed to drink sake? The hell's wrong with you? Of course he can't drink. It's the ceremony of it all, damn it. Understood. I'll go retrieve it right away. Have one of those layabouts that were in here fetch you a ladder first. Make them earn their keep. Put on a suit and a pair of glasses and think you can just stand there for the rest of your career, you lazy. Read your damn emails if you got nothing better to do. Should we be seated a certain way for... There is no cask of sake. Oh. But then the strategy of becoming intoxicated in order to void... I made it up. You're the lawyer. There any truth to what I said? No need for tricks like that. Attorney-client privilege already binds my hands. I am working for House Ikaria right now, Sarah. I mean, hell. Makoto could confess to me he's a mass murderer and I wouldn't be able to tell a soul. So then, why did you send Makoto away, Mr. Chairman, sir? I want to walk the gardens. Are we supposed to follow him? He left that part unsaid. How can you tell? Hey, quick strategy meeting. You know what a butler is, right? I'm glad you have such an appreciation for attorney-client privilege, sir. It makes these conversations go much smoother. But if you trust privilege so much, why don't you trust your grandson to be here? Don't kid yourself, Copper. That boy is the future of this family. If I didn't trust him, there'd be no point to any of this. Everything I've built. Dynasties aren't dynasties unless you manage to actually pass them down. What you've built in the last 30 years is undeniably impressive. It must have required astonishing brutality. Progress is brutality, and history is unkind to the gentle. Is that why you've orchestrated the fall of the leaves? To get your name in the history books? Orchestrated, so grand, so full of it. We knocked on their doors, and when they opened, we shot them, walked up to them on the streets and split their stomachs wide, pulled up beside them and let loose full auto on their limos. It wasn't anything as complicated as orchestrated. I executed. And my uncle named me successor for it. The Blue Bloods weren't even able to put up a fight. They were worried about handshake events and social media perception. Thought their friends in high places would be there when they needed them. Thought they'd already won. So how'd you get away with it? Good timing. No one notices a leaky faucet in a downpour. This was right before the Red Decade got underway. And once the border started locking up, there was no chance of reinforcements. We never saw it coming. We didn't know there was a bubble. We didn't think things would get that bad. That's what they always say. The losers. The scapegoats paraded in front of courts and cameras to meekly reassure the national audience that, no, you couldn't have done anything. You did everything right, so did we. We're all victims of uncontrollable market forces here. Still bred for a piss-poor circus. With a pity party instead of proper gladiators. I saw the signs, but more importantly, I didn't ignore them. Droughts from heaven, no grain in the storehouses. There'd only be room for one family of thieves in this city. I made sure it was mine. Last call, all aboard. And everything you've built since, Rennigan, Aurea Holdings, the legitimate half you're so proud of? That was the easy part, actually. Reprivatizing an industry is tricky business. How did you break up a state-controlled monopoly into a healthy, diverse, and competitive private marketplace? How? Dunno. I'll let you know if they ever pull it off. The shit show they did go with was easily gamed. Sprinkle some cash in the right bureaucrats' pockets, and we were able to snap up entire economies, wholesale. We, being the neobility? That's the term you prefer. Adonai, why is he confessing? He's not confessing, Sarah. This is bragging. Mr. Ikaria, I'm not looking to take up too much of your time, but perhaps you could help me understand something. The inciting incident, as they say. In screenwriting? They say it elsewhere too, probably. A year ago, you extended an olive branch to the Blue Bloods over Nirvana. Was it genuine? My curiosity was genuine, but not your financing. Is that why it fell apart? Why Makoto was attacked? It fell apart because those first gens and young bloods of theirs are hot-headed idiots who can't follow orders. But I expected as much. That's why I ordered my hound to be present on standby. But he didn't assassinate anyone that day, did he? No. Instead, Sosuke stepped in front of a blade that was headed for Makoto, and he's been guarding the boy with his life ever since. Was that your order as well? My order, yes. Not my idea, but I'm the patriarch, not a dictator. If my sweet siblings and darling nieces and nephews make an earnest request, who am I to refuse? You had to be pressured into letting Sosuke guard Makoto? Weren't you concerned about Makoto's safety? Of course I was. I just know the best place for the queen is on the attack. Not hopping around to the king's side blocking checks. Hey, chess metaphor, help me out. Any piece can sacrifice themselves, but there's only one queen and she has by far the most mobility. It's better to keep her out in the open, ideally, near the center of the field where she can attack freely. At least assuming you subscribe to... Okay, I got it. But here's the question. Why have the Blue Bloods kept trying to capture Makoto for over a year? Because of some hot-tempered idiots? Hey, MC592, hello to you too. What's your answer? Why do you think they would want to capture our little Makotan? Oh boy, no reason. Just for the funsies. His blood. There's the whole thing about the blood. Ah, okay, they were literally out for Makoto's blood. They'd want a steady supply. Mireille suggested they try for an arranged marriage down the line, but Kim didn't seem interested in anything of the sort. I thought they literally meant his blood, because they were going on about blood bags and stuff. I'm just going to go down the line. The reason... Ah, damn it, why am I so bad at this? If they took Makoto captive, they could extort the Ikaria for a king's ransom. Once, after that, the Ikaria would make them pay in every other way. And even if the price tag were big enough to ease all the Blue Bloods' woes, the resulting gang war would drain the coffers all the same. People can easily kill for money, but for them to take Makoto hostage? Literally no reason. Literally, it is no reason. Well, they wouldn't want to capture Makoto. Oh, they don't. A certain mama said as much to my face. Oh, shit, that's right. I'm dumb. A certain mama said as much to my face they would much rather kill your sole heir than capture him. It's what I would do, if they had any heirs left. But then why keep attacking Makoto if not to capture or kill him? Their goal has never been Makoto. It's just been... Oh, they want... I mean, it would make sense why they took him captive in the first place. Wait just a moment. I don't think that's the case, but I'm like, wait a minute. No, because why would they beat the shit out of him? Because I was like, is Sosuke, is he the little lord? I don't think so. But I'm like, they're after Sosuke, not Makoto. And that's why they, like, brought him to their base instead of just killing him. The goal's never been Makoto. It's just every time they've gone after their goal, Makoto's been there. You mean, put another way, the purpose of an operation is what the operation accomplishes. They've been trying to capture Sosuke for over a year. The other day, they finally succeeded. You think those idiot punks wanted to take my hound alive? I don't think. I know. Because that's literally what they did. They captured Sosuke and brought him down to the lower wards. To torture him. Idiots. They don't talk after the third. They'll never talk at all. The third what? It wasn't just any Blue Bloods that tortured him. It was a pod led by a young blood named Creek. Young, old, bound by blood or water. They're all the same scum. As you say, but I've learned there are some pretty big ideological rifts among the scum. Yeah, scum, not scrum. Oh my gosh. This is what happened when talking for almost 2 hours. The young bloods captured him, no doubt on Old Guard orders, but just an hour ago, an Old Guard was asking about Sosuke's health. They didn't want him harmed. He is! Oh my gosh, he's the little lord. A generous interpretation. I'm guessing the young bloods knew that. That would explain why the Old Guard wants Sosuke to be safe, but the young bloods beat the shit out of him. Whether they know it or not, that he's the little lord. He is. I'm guessing the young bloods knew that, but they tortured him anyway. Probably because they wanted to know why they've been repeatedly ordered to capture him. Out with it. Why would they want my hound? What the Blue Bloods want ultimately is simple. So simple that my android can answer this one. I can? What do the Blue Bloods need right now more than anything? Well, they need money. A lot of money. Without which they can't invest in legalized nirvana. Such a shame that, but we'll be happy to pick up where they left off. So at a time when they need money, they're throwing their young bloods at capturing Sosuke. Ergo, capturing Sosuke must open a path for them to get their hands on a lot of cash. Oh, because, yeah, he's the one that's going to open up the, what do they call it, something, the money they locked away. My, I look away for a few days and suddenly my hound skyrocketed in value. Oh, that's going to be an interesting revelation. I wonder how Daisuke's going to feel about that, to know that his hound is possibly the heir to the Blue Bloods. Who do I have to thank? Who raised the price on his head to such a degree? What about Sosuke makes him so valuable? His blood. Who raised the price on Sosuke's head? You did. 30 years ago, you made him irreplaceable when you killed everyone else who shares a drop of his blood. Sosuke is the little lord? last descendant of the Blue Bloods ruling families, and the only person on Earth who can get them back their fortunes. Hell of a shot in the dark. You gonna deny it? So he knew that? Sarah, when did the attack, supposedly on Makoto, begin? About a year ago. What else happened a year ago? The meeting between the Blue Bloods and the Ikaria that fell into chaos. Makoto made it out without a scratch, but only because Sosuke stepped in front of a blade for him. I can assume Sosuke's an impressive martial artist. With very well-defined... Sarah is crushing on him. With very well-defined pectorals and collarbones. But even he must have left blood on the floor that day. Yeah, he bled that day, but it's not as if he bled blue. You telling me the old guard could just smell the resemblance? They didn't need intuition or guesswork. Their private security organization, Cyanus, is in the business of securing crime scenes, cleaning them up, and performing paternity tests. Oh my gosh, they literally did say that. Could have been a whim. Could have been they were hoping to match him to DNA left at other hound attacks. Who knows? But I would pay good money to have been a fly on their wall when they saw the results. His reaction to this information is not very strong. That's to be expected. I've just told him a bunch of information he already knew. He already knew Sosuke was the Little Lord? That chess metaphor you used a minute ago might have sounded like solid reasoning, if I actually played. Unfortunately for you, I find the game boring. So, it struck me as very odd that a grandfather like you, equal parts doting and calculating, would ever place his heir's safety below concerns as vague as optimal play. You didn't object to Sosuke guarding Makoto because you wanted to keep your hound. You just couldn't convince the rest of the house it was a bad idea without revealing who Sosuke really is. If he knew Sosuke was the real target and would keep getting attacked, then having him guard Makoto would actually be putting Makoto in danger. Oh shit. You know bonsai. They look like miniature trees, but they aren't. They're shrubs. You condition them to look like a miniature tree by pruning it daily until it stops trying to grow into what it's meant to be, and instead lives as what you want it to be. Took the Blue Bloods 30 years to figure out my scheme, and you solved it in what, 48 hours? You deserve a toast. Now I wish that sake was in the storeroom. Instead, as a reward for your efforts, I'll give you a story. 30 years ago, I saw the future. Not in statistics or stock prices or consumer confidence indexes. I saw it in people's eyes. Fear and delusion. A sinking feeling that maybe everything really is made of bullshit and sea foam. And if you ever stop to look down at it, you'll fall through to the bottom. Can't warn people, they won't believe you. They'll strangle you to death for implying their boat might have a leak. Only one thing to do in times like those? Take advantage. For 1 year we pulled back. No resistance, no bargaining. We let the Blue Bloods hungrily swallow what we had left behind. For 1 full year we withdrew and waited and sharpened our knives. 1 year of preparation for 1 weekend in August. Hottest August on record. They left all the goddamn windows open. So it went fast. We'd show up, get to work, leave the mess for whoever cared to see it, and drive up to the next address. I did 22 myself, and even had you asked me back then, I couldn't tell you the first thing about any of them. Except for the 22nd. She had firm eyes. Cold eyes. No, not that harsh. Cool eyes. Like condensation on steel. And she was very brave. When I took aim at her, she blinked. Not even upset, just exasperated, like I neglected to hold the door for her. My mouth was dry. Felt like I hadn't spoken all day. I had to clear my throat to speak up so she could hear me over the babbling of the river she'd fled to. And the shots in the distance. I wanted to ask her why. Why out here? Why not a panic room? Why she was wearing a medical gown, and why her thighs were covered in blood. But instead I just asked, why aren't you afraid? She said, I can't be afraid. I'm a mom now. I've always liked that answer. So when the pistol stopped ringing in my ears and I heard the baby wailing in the bushes, I felt inspired. It's traditional in our family going back centuries that the eldest child be guarded from birth by a nursemaid, typically from a branch family. My wife would be due soon, and the Hayakawa clan had been an unfortunate casualty of that month. There was an opening. Expertly done, but why let him live? Don't I? So that I can invent the Little Lord. Oh! Build your opponent a golden bridge to retreat across. Oh, shit! So he just made up that whole thing? Wow! You started the rumors about a survivor. So long as those fools still had hope they could reclaim their former glory, they'd never rally themselves into chipping away at ours. Damn, this dude is smart. And if they ever did become a real threat again, I'd have the world's most valuable hostage ready to put them back in check. You turned your enemy's last hope into a meat shield for your family, and eventually your personal attack dog. Wow, yeah, that's the whole thing about the bonsai. He's just like... At first I thought he was maybe talking about Makoto for a moment, about like making him, forcing him into something that... It makes sense, yeah, that would be talking about Sosuke. About like forcing him to be something that he wants him to be. That was just a bonus. The heir had come of age, and so had Sosuke. He was free to choose any career in the family business at that point. He became the hound of his own accord. I'm sure. But that's just irrelevant at the end of the day. What? It helps me understand why the Blue Bloods have done what they've done, but it doesn't put me any closer to proving Sosuke's innocence. She's like, so no, all of this was worthless to me, basically. But Sosuke is their little lord. We tell people, won't that change anything? Well, for starters, we won't have any of this in court. Of course not. Can't exactly go telling the court about my exploits 30 years ago. Not when we have attorney-client privilege. But if you use your influence, if you reach out to the Blue Bloods, what, we'll work together to set Sosuke free? I killed everyone he could ever consider family, Copper. Besides a few old crooks waiting to die, anyone who shares a drop of his blood is in the ground. Most of them put there by me. I did all of that to sink the Blue Bloods. Now, does Sosuke know this? I can't remember. He did talk about his past. Does he know that Daisuke is the one who killed all of his family? I did all that to sink the Blue Bloods. Oh, this is so sad too, because Daisuke just sees him as just a meat shield, essentially, and just like a backup plan. Whereas Makoto sees, like, Sosuke, like, really seems to care about him. So I wonder how Makoto would feel to hear Daisuke talk about Sosuke like this. Now that they're finally ready to die, you think I'd throw them a lifeline just to protect one man? Just to keep one man out of prison? He's right. I'm not allowed to disclose anything I've learned here without his express permission. It would complicate the tax suit against my family terribly if it came out I lied about a blood relation, wouldn't it? Sosuke's in the will, after all. That's the law. Yeah, based on that, I don't think Sosuke knows that he's a blue blood. Didn't mean to run you in circles, honestly. I would have preferred you never wasted your time unearthing any of this. That's what I get for relying on him to deliver a message, I suppose. You're the one who wanted me to keep my investigation limited. I thought you'd get the picture and hurry up and make a plea deal, negotiate the charges down to manslaughter. So he's like, I don't give a fuck what happens to Sosuke. If he goes to prison or whatever, that's fine. Get this all squared away so we can focus on fighting this damn audit. Audit? Sosuke is on trial for his life. Sosuke is sworn to protect this family with his life. I'm respecting his wishes. If he goes to prison, the Blue Bloods will die knowing their little lord is alive, but permanently beyond their reach, rotting in a cell for killing their own men in defense of their own worst enemy. I can see why you wouldn't mind that outcome. A hostage you're never willing to sacrifice isn't a hostage, just a babysitting gig. I spared his life 30 years ago. This doesn't even cover his interest. So, Sosuke's always just been a tool for you. A hostage you'd protect until the perfect use came along? I've always wondered, do tools appreciate that part? I wonder if Sarah is going to blab and be, she's like, I'm not a lawyer. I don't have to follow lawyer client confidentiality. I could feel like Sarah, like she's definitely upset about this. When they're used properly, what do you think, Copper? Does Sosuke have any complaints? That doesn't make sense. Huh? Sosuke's a veteran. He served in the military. Did you grant your hostage permission to go risk his life for his country instead of you? It's not like he was one of those Minutemen they throw at walls. He was never in any real danger. What about as your hound? Deadly assassination and infiltration missions. He could have died during any of them. Why let your perfect hostage, your obedient tool, take on such dangerous work? Why give him your last name? Why let him live under your roof, raise him like a son? Why trust him with protecting the life of your son, your grandson? Why are you lying and pretending you don't? Pardon my android's outburst, sir. I'll have to adjust her conversational parameters later. Don't bother. Just rip its voice box out entirely if it's gonna speak over a man under his own roof. Goddamn Copper. Next, the furniture will be telling me what I feel about my own damn family. Raise him like a son. What bullshit. I have no son. Counselor. Do your damn job. Tell Sosuke to do his. Now. I'm sorry, that wasn't very butler-like behavior just now. It's fine. It was a good play in the moment. But Do you think he meant it? I don't know. Do you think he meant it when he said he has no son? Makoto is Daisuke's grandson. If he has no sons, then the previous heir that Sosuke grew up guarding must have been Makoto's mother? Oh. Oh, shit. I see the resemblance now between her and Makoto. Now, the eyes, the hair. Is it safe to assume everyone in your family has severe trust issues? I have no issues with trust myself. But, as you've seen, the house has very particular preferences when it comes to information silencing. Fancy words, you could have just told me who you are. I told you my name and my position in the house. Is it relevant I'm married? That I'm a mother? Should I be flattered? You told me you work for Aurea Holdings. You didn't mention you're at least the second most powerful member of the house. If I had to tell people that, it wouldn't really be true now, would it? You could have told me your relation to Sosuke. He guarded you every day of your life up until you were 19. 19. He's your goddamn brother. So that message you wanted me to pass along. If you see a way out, take it. You wanted him to try and make a deal with the Blue Bloods to get out from under the house. If Sosuke merely gave them what they wanted, I'm sure there'd be a dozen of Blue Bloods ready to confess to the crimes he's accused of. So you know. You knew. And if you thought he could parse the message, that means Sosuke. He's not an unintelligent man, merely stubborn about all the most frustrating things. What do the Blue Bloods want from Sosuke precisely? A blood donation? One sample will not suffice. They need to be able to validate their accounts, whatever called for. Daily blood donations, then. I told you, the old guard wants to become nobility. How do they cement alliances amongst the aristocracy of old? They want Sosuke to marry? But the old guard are old. Sosuke's already got as much blue in his veins as they could ask for. They don't need him to marry into them. They need him to marry into power. Not the worst thing to have asked of you. Have you ever been in an arranged marriage? Don't call it a gift. You were the heir apparent up until Makoto was born. All that time, Sosuke was your bodyguard. And driver. And poison taster, though that would most often entail me giving him concoctions to try. But his assignment actually ended when I married. Subtracting Makoto's age, that to have been over a decade ago. So he joined the military the moment he didn't have to shadow you anymore. And after he got back, he asked to become the Hound. I must really hate guard duty. He must. Back up a moment. Your father didn't want me uncovering Sosuke's parentage, most likely because he didn't want Sosuke to know the strength of his own bargaining position. But you told me to pass Sosuke a message that he'd only understand if he already knew who his parents were. So he did know. How long has he known? And how long have you known he's known? And when did Daisuke cease knowing who knows what? Around the time Sosuke left for the military. Hell of a thing to find out at your entrance physical. It was before he left for the military, actually. Did that influence his decision? Sosuke finds out he could be the richest man in the city, and then he wants to risk dying in battle? Quite the guilty class consciousness. I don't know exactly what did or didn't influence his decision to join the military. You'd have to ask him. I apologize for any gaps in knowledge you've had to work around. But hopefully, you now understand how delicate of a situation you found yourself in. Yeah, I can smell the explosives and hear the fuses sizzling. I just don't get why no one's gone over to stomp them out. If Sosuke has known this whole time, why the Blue Bloods wanted to capture him, why didn't he tell us? Because he's a stubborn man working for a highly secretive family. That I get. What I don't get is why he didn't defect the moment he learned the truth. Who knows? You'll have to work out the rest with him. I've given you all the aid my position allows. I suppose it was kind of you to share information with us at all. Being in charge of the legitimate side of your family, you don't have any connection with this incident. We'll see about that. Who knows? Not quite. Not quite, right? No connection with the incident. That's not quite accurate. Pardon? You do have a connection to the case, even if you yourself don't realize it. I found a note by the body of the Blue Blood who took Sosuke captive. It read M. Ikaria. This was one of the men. We thought it was Makoto. This was one of the men who attacked my son. I'd imagine a note with his name is the least of what you found. They've never been after your son. Not once. It's always been about capturing Sosuke. And Makoto's just been in the crossfire. I wonder if Mirai was the one who maybe gave the order to do this? Which Sosuke knows, which explains his reluctance to accept the responsibility of guarding Makoto. So I seriously doubt this dead man was interested in Makoto. Mirai Ikaria, however, has no relation to the world the dead man live in. That was decided the day she was born. But you do have a relation to Rennigan. Makoto mentioned your family was given one seat on the board as a show of respect. I take it that's deception, too? You may have let Rennigan go public, but you've never given up control of it. The rest of the board must be your family's puppets. But that doesn't matter. What matters is what Rennigan makes, and the price it charges. Rennigan is best known for the patenting of Medinformulin, a patent which expired years ago, plenty of other companies making it now. And yet the price hasn't gone down. The invisible hand sets prices where it will. Sure, but this is your invisible hand. A normal corporation couldn't strong-arm its competitors into keeping prices high. That'd be operating as a cartel. But the reincarnation of the Ikaria drug cartel would know exactly how to go about that without getting caught. If that were true, it'd be much easier than you make it out to be. The right email signature, the right package delivered to the right address, the right look. These executive types scare easy when the perceived threat is anything bordering on the physical. Of course it helps the end result is we all profit immensely. But yes, Medinformulin is very lucrative. What of it? The dead man Creek had a brother with expensive tuition, and TAD. Type 2 abnormal diabetes. He'll need Medinformulin for the rest of his life. Then he really ought to choose the proper insurance plan, don't you think? I don't get the impression family member coverage is a benefit the Blue Bloods offer. I suppose even the Mob Act has its limits. One could find the name of M. Ikaria in relation to the Rennigan board if they looked hard enough. So you think this Creek individual was going to threaten me? Oh, damn. This is such a complicated case. So, like, he's angry about the fact that she's been keeping the prices high for the medication that Creek's brother needed. Come up to me on the street with a knife, a gun, he wouldn't get within 100 meters. I don't doubt that. Now the rest of it's speculation, but he might have just wanted to contact you. That would have been even less likely to succeed. So you truly don't care that his brother needs this medicine? Sosuke is like a brother to you, and you've gone out of your way to try and help him, even when you stand to gain nothing from it. Yes, but I wouldn't expect my enemies to be impressed by the effort. How would you feel if they laughed at your effort? Sarah is... I love the irony of, like, Sarah being an android, and yet she has so much more empathy, it seems like, than Morgan does. My apologies, new android, still adapting to conversation. You know what we sold back before Rennigan? Before the facade of nobility, back when we were the Ikaria cartel? Opioids? Yes, it was still illegal back then, but not for everyone. Take the exact same compounds, put them in an extended release pill, and sell them at the pharmacy. And that's just pain management. It's all the same poison, equally addictive, whether you get it from a dealer or a doctor. Have you ever seen someone go through opiate? Ugh. This is rough, yeah, because, like, I have a family member who went through that, and it's rough. Man, the way that she was saying that about how it's just, because that was the thing, is the family member got badly hurt and was put on opioids and developed an addiction, and it was a really tough time. And things are better now, but I was just like, yeah, this hits pretty close to home. Like taking a wine opener to your stomach for 7 days straight, they testified. Pain like that eats people alive slowly and replaces them with something unrecognizable. A loving parent would steal from their own child if they thought it could buy them release from that kind of pain. Painkillers, what a joke. Does Rennigan produce painkillers? No, we don't. People die if they don't get the medicine they need, and I'm sure their family mourns them. But addicts die a little more every day of their life until the day they finally fade out forever. And their family feels disgusted with themselves for breathing a sigh of relief. Plenty of kinds of evil in the world, little girl. Plenty to choose from. For real people like us, if you don't choose, the choice is made for you. Now wipe the look off your face and access the following address. Rennigan.main.financing.prescriptionfinancingoptions.outofpocket.apply. You have that memorized? But this portal is not listed or linked to anywhere on the site. I know, but it still works. By law, we have to have it, but we can't be blamed if the website's poorly designed. If you know any despondent crybaby college students looking for coupons to help pay for medicine, they might want to start there. Thank you. Well, look at that. Don't thank me. Don't. And I got an achievement for that. I can't stand it. Just save Sosuke's life. So interesting that Daisuke doesn't seem to care about Sosuke, but maybe he does a little bit. And Mirai seems to want to save him. So does Makoto. Don't know how you pulled that off, don't I? They do consistently refer to themselves as a house. Perhaps they simply value family more than you think. Okay, looks like we're gonna talk to Sosuke for a bit. So, where should we begin? What do you mean? I'm afraid I don't have anything new to tell you. Stubborn about all the most frustrating things, was it? I'm your lawyer, Sosuke. We're sworn to always do what's best for our clients, their rights, and their privacy. To an extent that many consider extreme, we are unable to disclose incriminating or otherwise problematic information that our clients give us, no matter the circumstances. This whole system is designed to benefit the defendant. So, it really upsets me when I find out my clients are lying to me about vital information that could help me save their lives. You're troubled by the nature of my work as the Hound. You're adopted. Yes, from the Hayakawa. That's bullshit. You know it. I know it. And people whose opinions you respect know it. Fine. All members of the military have extensive DNA samples on records. If I subpoena... Alright, stop. Just stop. Does the military keep all its members' DNA on record? I don't know. Probably, right? Yes, I know what you're referring to. Even before I knew, I did wonder. If you've known about your real family for more than a decade, why haven't you ever... Because it doesn't matter. Try telling that to the Blue Bloods. They've been risking a gang war for over a year trying to get to you. That's their choice. It has nothing to do with me. How can you... I'm appalled, Sosuke. How could a brave soldier serving the House of Ikaria allow violence to continue when he knows he could stop it? A worthy attempt, counselor. He's like, you just don't have the same gravitas and sincerity that Sarah has when she's trying to appeal to his emotions. I guess I'm not used to having to persuade people to act in their own best interest, or that of their family. Family? The Ikaria raised me, fed me, taught me how to read, write, walk. They gave me a home, a purpose. Yeah, by killing all of your family first. They're using you. They need me. They've got a funny way of showing it. I owe everything to them, and nothing to the dead. They're only dead because the man you call a father murdered them. He did that a long time ago to people I've never met. You'll have to forgive me if I'm short on empathy for complete strangers. Aunts, uncles, cousins, parents, siblings? You can't call them complete strangers, Sosuke. Can't I? The Ikaria are my family. Nothing will change that. Nothing ever could. Let's test that. Pardon? The state thinks you murdered a cop. They'll make sure no one even thinks of following your example. Let me repeat that. The full brunt of the police state is about to fall directly on the back of your neck. Hammer. Hammer time. Nail. I'm not afraid of prison. You ever been in one? What? No, they shave you. What? When you're convicted, they shave you for hygiene. It's not for hygiene. Are you talking about the virtual work release thing? Do they fit you for skull caps? Not right away. They don't do that to people. Put a man in chains, strip him naked, sew his mouth shut. He'll still recognize himself in the mirror. He's still a person. But shave his head. Give him a uniform and make him sit in the dark with 500 others who've been treated the same. He starts to forget. Forget he's a person. After you're so bored you're seeing constellations in concrete, and after you're scratching your skin raw just to feel something new, that's when they ask if you'd like a job. After people stop being people. How could you even know any of this? I'm a defense attorney, Sosuke. Who else gets to see the inside of a prison and walk away afterwards? Makoto sent me himself. So, you never actually took your one phone call, did you? Take my phone and call Hana Kim. The Blue Bloods will volunteer a fall guy to confess to the crimes, and you'll walk free. After which you'll become one of the richest men in the city overnight. That's not... If you're at all curious, I've done some calculations to estimate the extent of your familial holdings. The number is quite remarkable. I take it back. Making a Hammer Time reference does confirm you're a millennial. Thank you. Thank you. No one's asking you to abandon the Ikaria. You could become their greatest ally. Together, your families would... I know exactly what would happen if I made that deal. I won't do it. Why the hell not? Why not, Sosuke? You're forgetting a few small details involved in this process. Namely, disowning the people who raised me my entire life. And claiming myself before the world as the son of people I've been fighting since I was a teenager. How shameless do you think I am? Daisuke, that man raised me like his own son, and in return, I can't throw away the name he gave me just for goddamn money. Treat your men as you would your own beloved sons, and they will follow you into the deepest valley. Is that it? You would rather rot in prison as an Ikaria than live in luxury as blue blood? Gladly. This is my answer, Morgan. If you try and use my parentage in the trial tomorrow, I will dismiss you as my counsel and change my plea to guilty. If that's your answer, then that's your answer. You're the client. What you say goes. Right? So if you somehow last another night without the cops smothering you in your sleep, we'll need some kind of strategy when we go into court tomorrow. Of course we will. And what are your thoughts on the matter? I might have found a window of opportunity. A chance someone other than you had the means, motive, and opportunity to commit these. It's Han! Han did it! Come on, we know it's her. Have you remembered anything else about your captivity? Maybe. If we go over it again and I extrapolate somewhat, or a lot, we'll need to be prepared. You're going to be called to the stand tomorrow. All I need to do is keep silent, right? You'd better not. I'll be the one asking the questions. You're going to call him to testify? What do you expect me to say up there? I want you to tell the truth. I want you to tell the court exactly how you were set free. Alright, you good taking another night shift? He's infuriating, but I'd rather he didn't get shanked at the moment. Of course, Adonai. Detective London will be back shortly, and I'll make sure Sosuke's monitored all night. What is it? You gonna ask me to explain his decision? 'Cause I'm done trying at this point. I don't think his decision is that confusing. He wants to be loyal to the people who've shown loyalty to him. Shown loyalty? Do you need a microscope to see it? You spot any members of the noble house of Ikaria around here? Are they hiding under a box? The people who've shown loyalty to him, historically. His decision doesn't confuse me, but his choice of words. He considers the Ikaria his true family, yet he again spoke of a debt to them. That seems odd to me. What do you think? I don't know. Do they really shave everyone in prison? Or was that another bluff? Not everyone, no. Only everyone who can't pay the fees. Alright, I think this is going to be the day of, Oh, okay, we got a little bit more. So I don't know if Han is too obvious because it would be disappointing if she was the culprit with all the evidence. The more evidence is stacked against her, the more I think she's innocent. That's, you know what, that's true. I have been kind of conditioned by these games to kind of second guess that if someone seems like too, like Danganronpa, Phoenix Wright, like all those games, if someone seems like too obvious of a culprit, so the only other person I could think of then would maybe be could possibly be the partner. What's his name? Turk Chopin's partner. Because he was there with him, right? And he could have easily just said that it was Sosuke was the one who killed him. So if it's not Han, she is very suspicious. But that's a good point. So my thinking, it's either Han, they're either going to go with the obvious choice, or it's going to be the cop partner. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that I'm missing, but those are my two, like, most obvious suspects. A good puzzle feels satisfying to complete. Like a good story, it maintains its appeal even when viewed in hindsight. A bad puzzle doesn't make sense after you finish it. The picture's there, but it's muddled, vague, and you feel like an idiot for bothering to piece it together. Sosuke Ikaria is that kind of puzzle. I fit every edge to every edge just so, but the result wasn't satisfying. An infuriating client to cap up a frustrating case. Having to keep track of what the cops know, what the Blue Bloods know, what the Ikaria are hiding, what Emma's thinking, what I've learned, what I know to be true, what I can prove, and what I can actually say. And even after all that, getting kneecapped when my client refuses to play his best cards. I want to clear my head, or maybe empty it. Don't feel like finding something to stream. Sarah's messed up my recommendations anyway. My homepages used to be great. Tuned to a T. I get closed-circuit footage of industrial machine accidents and gun disassemblies with no commentary in the title. Now it's all street workout videos and film director tier lists. If the end result is my internet history looks like a little bit more random to an outsider, I guess I can forgive it. But if she ever gets me added to the mailing list for diet supplements, I am fully revoking her net access. I love that. You can really tell somebody by their algorithm of of videos and TV shows and movies. Not in the mood for people watching. Sometimes if I let my eyes unfocus, the massive foot traffic on the streets below melds into one dark amoeba, curling slightly at its edges as it squirms along the petri dish of the world around me, its edges lost beyond the horizon, which can be zen in its own way. I'm guessing that's what people see in ant farmers, but I wouldn't know. Who the hell would want more insects crawling around their house? What else are we doing here? Drinking? We can always just drink. Bake? I don't see Morgan as a baker. I'm not hungry. Baking is satisfying. Applied chemistry, which is just applied math, but the cleanup isn't fun. And when I don't have a neighbor I'm trying to butter up or a client to visit, everything just sits in my freezer until I end up throwing it out. Sarah seems to shovel it all down without complaint, but she's not here now. When I was still slaving away in that witch's office, I never wanted for hungry mouths. Coworkers would eat anything you leave out in a break room. If I ever get truly desperate to hide evidence, I'll just bake it into a pie and find an office birthday party to crash. It'll be gone without a trace in minutes. This is pointless. Might as well close my eyes and wait. Even staring daggers into the backs of my own eyelids would do more good than this. Whatever this is. Hey, cool kid. If you go to jail for starting this pyramid scheme of an extracurricular activity, does that help or hurt your chances of becoming a lawyer? You're trying to recruit members because if you don't hit critical mass, this all falls apart. It's exactly like a pyramid scheme. Well, I don't know if I can give you advice since I'm only a member on paper, but if you want to start a club for solving mysteries, maybe you should, solve one first. I don't know. Ask questions, talk to people, I guess. Record what they say. Take notes and think hard. Oh, you never know. You can be pretty persuasive, or at least entertaining. I mean, I'm still sitting here for a reason, right? Guess I fell asleep after all. It's still dark out, though. What time is it? 5 in the morning? It says 9:40 on my phone. I slept for 30 minutes? That's it? What's going on with me today? Ugh, am I really about to give up and start scrolling on my phone? I should check my temperature. There might be something wrong with me. Don't feel like going to find the thermometer. How about a bet? 300 says the first article that pops up is an advertisement. There's always good news every night. Beloved school janitor given dance-off salute by students after having to postpone retirement for third time. Double or nothing. Federal investigators recovered Denning's girl. Well, congrats on no longer being kidnapped. But you just cost me 600, you little shit. Alright, the nation rejoices tonight as the daughter of renowned philanthropist Joseph Dennings has been... I wonder if this is going to be a little bit of a hint into the next case that we're going to be doing. Confirmed home safe and sound thanks to the efforts of federal investigators spearheaded by a playbook that applies old techniques to tackle new challenges. Dennings originally rose to prominence as the CEO of Constancy Inc., which was at the time a marketing firm specialized in virtual advertising. But Denning's vision for bringing advertising to the front lines with heads-up displayed services cracked open the previously uncharted markets of active-duty armed forces members, serving them relevant, relatable, automatically generated content that informed them about the products they wanted waiting for them on their doorstep when they got home. Tragedy struck earlier the week when his daughter was kidnapped on her way home from school in an attack investigators described as meticulously planned and flawlessly executed. When the vicious attackers contacted the Dennings family and demanded an exorbitant ransom, a lesser man would have panicked or worse given in to their demands. Fortunately for his daughter, Dennings is not a lesser man. Those first 24 hours are essential. We needed every minute we can get. It's really quite remarkable. Mr. Dennings was clear-headed enough to contact us right away, said one investigator close to the operation. Investigators sprang into action, of course, but here our story takes a curious turn. Instead of searching the map for the young Dennings girl, they mapped out the psychology of the kidnappers themselves. We wouldn't really describe this as a terrorist attack, but the sick, twisted terrorists who committed this atrocity did do us the courtesy of communicating openly and often. From the way they spoke, the words they chose, we started to narrow down their possible backgrounds, and we revisited the crime scene. Investigators credit the breakthrough to footage of the kidnapping that indicated the terrorists had military-level training and discipline, carrying out the attack in a so-called quartet formation, considered a signature of the military's elite hostage retrieval squad. Anyone can read handbooks and try to copy what they've seen in military sims, but this was carried out without so much as a shot fired. Skills like that, unfortunate for the suspects, are as unique as fingerprints. We had warrants to search all 4 suspects' properties within the hour. While some less dignified members of the press questioned the nature of this horrific crime, asking pointless questions about a possible relationship between Mr. Denning's past work and the suspect's military background. Mr. Denning's business associates have no bearing on the value of their daughter's life, which I'm glad to say is no longer in any danger. For that, we have to thank the efforts of the brave young investigators to my left. Special Investigator ISA, Technical Analyst Solkov, Special Agent Greenfield, and Special Agent Beckham. Together they... Okay. So something about the military. Would that be related to Soscan anyway? How's that for long odds? What are the chances I see that name? Perfect timing, actually. Maybe chewing out Miri for keeping me in the dark is just the nightcap I need. Okay. That woman was like a black cat. Hang on, that knock doesn't sound like Miri. Okay, so one of those names was familiar to her, but I don't know in what regard. Maybe ISA? I feel like that name might be familiar. Oi, that voice almost sounds like... Pen up already, you shit. I better check the door cam. Detective, is that you? Open up. Pardon? I said open up. Oh, is she drunk? Hang on, are you... Don't pretend you can't hear me, you little creep cave, you little creep. Detective Reyes, are you drunk? Yes. No. It's a crime for you to ask me that. I guess London did not succeed in getting her to not go to the bar. Oh, I can just wave my badge. Hello to the door cam. And my door just unlocks like that? That cannot be legal. Oh, it's not legal. What? Wait, what model of door is it? Oh yeah, for this model of door in the city zoning, is illegal for me to unlock your door like that. Guess Han had a point. Needing to make spare keys is a fair trade-off to avoid this bullshit. And since you just invited me in, I did not. Here I am, above the book. What's happening right now? Why is your ceiling all the way up there? Who'd you kill to get a place this huge? What do you even do with this much space? Hang from the rafters like a bat? Echo? Echo! Echo! Detective, this is absurd. Does anyone even know you're... Does anyone know you're here? Oh, Morgan's like, I'm gonna take this to my advantage. What? Let me check. Detective Reyes, badge number 10806, reporting on all channels. Self-assignment, protective surveillance of suspected criminal target, threat assessed as medium to low, target capabilities, not a threat to self or others. Well, you don't know Morgan very well. Reporting in from, what's your address? Do not dox me to every cop in the city, Reyes. Reporting from address withheld. Any copies? Over. Copy. Copy. Cam saw you entering the building. Copy. Reading your biomonitor. We got you 10806. Have a quiet night. Are you finished? Hey, where's the snowball? What? She waves her hands in a rough approximation of something cloud-shaped. Snowball, porka ball, matcha ball. Sarah's doing her job. Likely story. A matcha ball? That's an adorable nickname. She's getting so many cute nicknames. You probably make her sleep in a coffin in the parking garage. Going off David's setup, she might be more comfortable if I did. Is this booze? That's water. Ugh, God. Can I do something for you this evening, detective? Or did you come here to critique my interior decorating and knock shit over? She's a cat. She's basically just a cat. I came here because I'm drunk. And I'm drunk because you're in danger. No, the other way around. I drank because I was pissed. And Kaz and everyone else told me to go home. Even though he shot a guy only a few hours ago, I'm the one who's too emotional and too useless. So I came here to catch a bad guy. Because you are defending that cop killer. Uh-huh. Who's also an orca killer. A whale cop killer. Killer whale cop. Every goddamn idiot in the city wants to shoot him. And also you, because you're a stinking lawyer. Thanks? And I'm a cop. Cops are supposed to protect people. Even stinky lawyers. Thanks. So I'll park myself right here and catch the next assassin they send after you. Then lock him up and throw away the key. And if I accidentally save your life too, that's okay. Even if you don't deserve it. You could have just stopped talking. I can stop talking. Easy. Do you really not have anything to drink? I'm not sure I want to drink with you, detective. Who invited you? You're the host, do whatever, but I'm gonna do what I gotta do, and where is the screw top? If I have to host a drunk detective race for the rest of the night, as I evidently do, I suppose I needn't force myself to go through the ordeal sober. I'll get a bottle opener, detective. Oh, shit. Said I'll get it. That was pretty fun. Oh, it's still going. Excellent. Wait. This is the best part of the vid, where he breaks down the horsepower. Morgan's gonna be like, God damn it. They're throwing off my algorithm even more. For years, they all abided by this gentleman's agreement where their engines would have horsepower capped at 270 or so, to avoid this, like, arms race of engineering in a country with such a huge street racing scene. Right, but the crazy part is, it was only ever on paper. They were building and selling cars with 300 plus horsepower, and they all just listed the horsepower as 270 domestically. Yeah. And God, everybody knew it. I mean, they were selling the same car with the same engine, with the same goddamn torque rating in 2 different countries, and they were saying, oh, I don't know, I think it's only 276. That's crazy. I was born in the wrong generation. I'll die without ever knowing what gasoline smells like. Oh yeah, she was really interested. I didn't, what's his name, David? He had, like, a motorcycle or something, and she was really into that. Gasoline is odorless. What? It's odorless. They added a strong smell during refinement so leaks could be noticeable. That's natural gas, you dummy. Scared me for a sec, jeez. If you're gonna try and ruin something for me that I never even had a chance of experiencing, you better get it right. Doesn't know the difference between gas and gasoline. So, you knew Chopin? God. We dated, okay? Happy? I wouldn't have guessed that. Okay, this is where we can extract, geez, am I drunk? Extract some information out of her. For how long? Once. Which is not a lot, duh. I know. It was such a shitty date. Wore his uniform, like I was supposed to salute. And God, was he cheap. I said, what do you tip the bartender? And he got all confused. He just handed me 2 cans. Why would I tip? Because you tipped the goddamn bartender, man. That's why. Can always tell when someone grew up with money. Maybe they just can't hide it. Maybe none of them ever learned the decency to try. Rockford's not so bad. I mean, it's obvious still, but the airhead part kind of offsets it. Yeah, that's... What do you mean? Emma comes from money. Bah! Guess even you can tell it's a joke. Worst date I've ever been on. Waitress looked like she was gonna stab him. You'd think he was allergic to salt with all the nitpicking he did. Then he had the balls to tip 10%. That is bad. Oh, what do you know? You probably haven't been on a date since the 60s. How old do you think I am? I was talking about the tip. What tip? Oh, the tip. Well, yeah, but still, do you even have a dating profile? Or do you just hang around funeral homes and castles and shit looking for other creatures at the night? I don't have a dating profile. You met Chopin through an app? Yeah, a dating app for cops. There's a dating app for cops? Yeah, just for cops. Just for all. Why is it called Just for All if it's just for cops? It's a... Oh, it's a pun, like Justice for All. Well, not really a pun, wordplay. Play on words for Justice for All. The cop catchphrase. We say it all the time when we catch people. There's an app for everyone. Probably even lawyers with sun allergies. I don't think there's an app for me. You know, for like secret serial killers. Hang on, let me project a hologram of the world's smallest violin out of my eye socket. Apps suck. This one I matched. She was terrible. Her teeth. She was trying to smile or some shit. She was all teeth. I think it was her first kiss. You remember your first? I don't know why everyone's always so concerned with firsts. The hell does that mean? Don't worry about it. I have never once given a second thought to anything you say, so get that straight. Wanted to slap the guy's dumb face at the end of that date. But then I didn't even recognize him. When Lon and I came in, he was face down. The whole floor of blood, just blood and paper. Couldn't turn him over, had to preserve the scene. Just had to leave him there. Sorry. Sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm angry. You seem to get angry a lot. You been to anger management? You know what that's about? Managing anger? Keeping calm, not letting your emotions control you. I'm great at all of that. If you say so. I do say so. With what I'm feeling most of the time, I'm a goddamn saint with how calm I stay. I'm just too small. I'm just a little small bean. A little hole in the bottom of a big water tower. Fills up faster than it will ever drain. If I was big, I'd trample this whole city down long, long before my anger's gone. Didn't even seem like people from the hall. Just 2 people-shaped things face down in blood. Sosuke and Chopin? They were both face down? What? Yeah, because Rogers was Wait a minute! Wait a minute! Hold on. Didn't he say the partner said, and we saw it in the arc, that Sosuke was standing over the body trying to get the sword out? Oh, dang it. Okay. No, because Rogers was cuffing Sosuke. I thought I'd had something there. I was like, oh, we caught her. She gave some information that is not what we thought it was. Rogers, what a klutz. That guy couldn't cuff a cow? I don't know. Something that cuff easy. A dress shirt? Oh, what do you want? A round of applause? Everyone clap for the world's greatest, wordsmith? Just shut up. That was great. That was a nice little moment. Nice to know that Race is just as angry when she's drunk. Persuading her to remove her shoes and socks before tossing her up the stairs was the very upper limit of my patience. Making it off the floor and onto the bed is up to her. I don't care. I can sleep on my couch. I could sleep in my chair if I had to. I can fall asleep in any position, actually. It's not actually worth bragging about, especially to myself. So now a homicide detective knows where I live. I guess the address is on the business card, downside of a home office. At least it's fun to imagine how sick she'll be tomorrow. Can't remember a time I got that drunk, thankfully. Can't remember a time I got that mad. And the last time I cried? Screw it, introspection's a scam. I'm not nearly so flush I can afford to waste time on it. I feel like that little bit of stuff that we got from Ray's about, like, when she was at the crime scene and she saw Roger's cuffing Sosuke, maybe that might help us out later. Oh my god, stop smiling like that. Yeah, you found a teacher's missing key card. No, you're not Sherlock Holmes. Or whatever his lawyer was. Oh, I'm sure. You're going to be the most popular kid in school overnight now. Well, I wasn't being that sarcastic. You better hope it's somewhat true. Deadline for your little club sign-up period is next week, isn't it? Actually, you'll need to find 4 members. I'm going to be out that day. Family thing. What a face. You show everyone puppy dog eyes that pathetic? Look, if you're going to be a lawyer, you'll need to get better at reading the fine print. See, you need 5 members to found a club, but if you have at least 2 students present at the qualification time, you can get extension. I mean, even you can get 1 person to join, right? Just use that winning personality of yours. It's a family thing. I can't say no. Nothing. I didn't say anything. Alright, there we go. We are on. We are here. I assume. Yes, we are. Alright. We're about to start the second day of the trial. So, on that note, this actually... we got a lot of information. There was a lot of revelations in this one, but I think we're going to keep the whole court part here. We are going to save that for... I assume we are going to be able to wrap this up with the next thing. And I also assume it's probably going to be a pretty long one, because even just the investigation was like almost 2.5 hours, which is crazy. So, that is going to do it for this live stream, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sorry again for having to delay it. But I made it a little bit extra long to make up for it, and I imagine the next one is going to be pretty long as well, so I hope you will be able to join me for the next live stream of this, which should be wrapping up episode 2, and I'm very excited. You know, am I going to be right? Is it going to be the obvious culprit? Will Han be the culprit, or is my guess going to be that it is the cop's partner is going to be the true culprit? Or maybe it will be someone even better. Oh, holy cow. Thank you. Holy, Matt Kim, thank you. $20 donation right at the end. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thanks for streaming. Really looking forward to the next stream. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's so sweet. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it to see if I'm right about who the culprit is and how everything went down. And then after we're done with Of the Devil, I'm going to be starting my stream of the new Paranormal Site game, which I'm excited to play. So that'll be the one we're going to be playing after this. But yes, we will wrap it up next time. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. Thank you again for tuning in to this live stream, and I hope to see you for the finale next week. Until then, bye-bye.